Very good evening to everyone here on Octane Online Racing. We're here for the Simagic Spec Series here, split yellow, and joining me in the comms box here at Zolder is Mr. Mike Crick. Mike, how you going?
Good, Mitch. How are you today?
I'm very excited seeing these Bentleys driving around here.
Yeah, love this car. Doesn't get raced enough. Thankful to the new BOP that LFM have provided us with, because I think that's definitely helped bring it back into the fold, and we're seeing a few more people driving it.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably still not up to scratch in with the current BOP because they want to try and be lenient to the cars that are faster. But certainly at some tracks, it's a viable option, and it's going to be fantastic to see a huge number of Bentleys driving around a track like Zolder, hitting those bumps and probably not being hugely affected. I can't wait to see the sort of racing we have here this evening. It's okay. It's the start of qualifying here. All the drivers coming around just for their first valid laps. Just on board here with Brent Sykes at the moment. Believe he's on his first lap for Psycho Motorsport, coming down to the final two corners. A nice little S-bend chicane, whatever you'd like to call it here. Coming in the final corner now. Let's see across the line. See what happens. And I'm going to tell Mike that we're not in split green. It is split yellow in the top right there. I'll blame Mike for that. That's okay. So 29.5 there for Sykes. Starts him off with a good banker. Still plenty of time out using all the curb on the inside there of turn 2. Now setting P2. So all those valid times starting to come in now. So the driver's really going to start getting those tyres up to temp and getting those laps in. As you don't want to do that. You do not want to hit the dirt. That is certainly not an advisable line.
Yeah, so he's our current pole sitter at the moment. Has just been changed. We've just had a change. Paul Britt has just gone fastest with a 127.7. That's lightning fast in this car.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure there's plenty more where that came from. Yeah, 10.5 up. That was only a cool lap from him, so you might see a low 27 here from Britt if he can hold it together.
Another main contender, Burrs.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a not ideal lap to start him off. But, I mean, half a second up after 2-3 corners. Look at the amount of curb the car in front there's using. He's Britt, and he's using a silly amount of curb. So maybe Burst needs to take some notes here from Britt, who's just absolutely sending it. Needs to find that time using all the chicane there. It's a lot of curb. That's exactly what you want to be doing. So Burst got the right idea through there, hitting a bit of the grass on the outside to get the car turned in. This is a really tough track in general, Mike. I don't know what your thoughts on are, but I really don't like it.
I actually quite like Zolder. I think it's a pretty interesting track overall. I really enjoy it. I don't like the first sector too much. I find it quite tricky to get my handle around it. But overall, I think it's a nice, interesting little track. But I do favour these sort of shorter, more technical, slower circuits than sort of the longer circuits like Spa or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Burr's going to come across the line 1 second faster. That's going to bring him up back to P3 now, just behind Britt there in P2. Someone's taken pole. Rakhmat, yeah. I'm really not surprised by that one. Rakhmat is an unbelievable driver. Everyone in the chat's probably seen him race maybe in Sprint Series in previous years, but probably more so in the SRO Series. So great to see him back again in the Bentley. Usually you would have seen him probably in the Lamborghini in previous OR season. So he had a 26 on the Delta there. Did you see that?
Yep.
Oh my. Oh yeah, just said 27.0. Yeah. Totally fine. Oh, that was almost perfection there. He's just green on the Delta. Look at the turn in there. Nice throttle control. And one thing that'll make you feel sick, Mike, he's got TC off.
Well, of course, that's the Pro Strat, right?
In some, not all cars, yes. Oh, there's the 26 on the Delta. This is spectacular. If he pulls this off, this is going to be a mega lap, and we're only, halfway through the session. Oh, that was too much curb. Too much. Don't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately sacrificing a little bit there on that curb. It's a circuit like that, one little bad hit on the curb like that and it can completely invalidate a lap. But I'm sure he's got plenty of time. There's 8 minutes, so he can definitely get that 26 in, and I'm keen to see it.
I think as the rest of chat, welcome to everybody watching on Twitch and YouTube and any other multicasting platforms. Glad to have you here for this evening's racing in split yellow and split green. First I've got split yellow here. McNeil was half a second up, so this is a good time. He didn't invalid 27.9 just before. There's a 28.0, so puts him up P4 now. This is a good position here for the minute. Still 7.5 minutes to go, though, so anything, of course, as we say, can happen, especially at a circuit like Zolder where you can invalidate everything. There you go, Burrs backed out. He's going to go back to the pits. He was 10th up, maybe, so still time in his lap. Curry now getting a nice run. 2.5 tenths up. Going to go probably more, maybe didn't have the best run on previous laps, so he'll be looking to try and improve on that. Let's see how much curb he takes. Not very much. Probably going for the safer line, which is completely valid. You want to keep the car on the track with as little bounce as possible. That is a viable line.
Yeah, perhaps opting for a bit of a safer run on this lap. Maybe he's invalidated another one and just wants to get a nice, clean little 28 in there just to start off with so he can build on it later.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuri, though, speaking of 28s, had a 20 on the board, couldn't quite get the hairpin right. Again, that's another tough one. You've got to use as much curb as possible and get really good on the exit without compromising too much of your line. And gets a very nice exit. It's going to go 7/10 up on this lap. It's going to put him to the mid to low 28s. 28.3, in fact, puts him P8. And Rackmat, oh my goodness. He's really sent this. Really sent this. There was a 26.6 there, and he lost it with 26.7. That's actually filthy. Disgusting.
Yeah, 26.7. That's a ridiculous lap. He's a whole second faster than Britt behind, whose best time at the moment is still a 127.7.
Yeah, I mean, I know I said the words SRO, but that's ridiculous. I'll tell him later that was ridiculous. That's next level insane. Britt's got a bit of work to do if he wants to take that off him, but I'm sure he'll give it a red-hot go. He's probably going to just do his best to defend the P2 position for the minute. 5.5 minutes to go.
He's got about a 10th on Burrs at the moment, who's got a 127.8 and doesn't seem to be improving just at this moment. Not a lot of improvement out there on track for the moment. Everyone maybe a couple of tenths up, but no big movers and shakers just yet.
Get keyword there, just yet.
Yeah, it's coming.
Well, one can only hope. Right, Britt lining up, trying not to block the car behind that Scani. He's cooked it anyway. So coming onto his lap is Britt. I think this is going to be his final shot, so he's going to have to give this a red-hot go to keep P2, because I can guarantee you drivers behind will be hunting him down. Down through turn 3. It's a fast right-hander. As I said before, you don't really want to hit the dirt there. Coming down to the chicane. We'll see how Britt takes this off. 10th down at the moment, but of course this is a cold lap, so to be a 10th down at this point isn't too bad. I certainly wouldn't be complaining if I was Britt, so he'll certainly look to try and solidify his position in P2. Oh, a lot of curb there, almost on the track limits, I dare say. So he's done well to really pull that one up. But, of course, still a good half of the track to go before we can take our judgment too early. But if he can pull this out on a cool lap, he could easily do probably a 27.3, 27.2 in this lap. We've got a Simo in the Twitch chat saying hi to me. Hello, Simo. How you going? Hope you're having fun. Yeah, Britt backs out of that one. Wants to get as much clean air as possible. Wants to probably try and maximise his final corner exit, and does. Gets a great exit. So see what he does on these final 2 laps. Just 3.5 minutes to go here in qualifying.
Yep, already starting this lap.
Oh. Yeah, he didn't like that one, I'm going to be honest. I don't think he liked that.
That wasn't what Britt would be looking for. And yeah, I think we'll see him back out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hignett coming across the line. He's going to go P4 there with a 27.9. So good luck from him there. It's only 2 tenths between, and that's not so good. And I think he's either going to pack it in or he's going to give it one more shot and wait to see how that one goes for him. On board now, Scani, who got a little bit blocked, I think, before from Britt, but nothing huge. Down turn 3, didn't quite use much of the curbs. Going to hit the dirt, lose time. Not a lot, but he does have Stephen Tyre behind. I suspect Stephen will want to probably get through where possible. Not if he takes... Oh, what a line. He was 2 tenths up, but lost it. Just a little bit too much curb through there, but easily done, especially with a chicane like that. Can really throw some people off.
Validated that one, so he's got time here.
One left.
He's probably going to back out a bit, give Scani some more breathing room, and hopefully he'll go for another one on this next lap.
He might actually have 2 left if he's quick enough, unless he has to back out from Scani, then he'll probably only have 1 left. That's okay. The hairpin. Real tough corner there as a Cameron can't work out where Stephen Ty's car is. He does get past Scani though. He's got Herod up ahead, who is just behind him in the qualifying results at the moment. So Stephen might actually come across. He could get 2 laps in here if he's got the fuel, but he's going to cut it extremely close. Down to turn 1, needs to break it. Probably the second to last sign on the right there, coming towards turn 1. Oh, already a 10th up after turn 1. That's a really good start. See what happens through turn 2. A lot of input there from him. Nice run out there. Almost a 10th and a half up. Scani almost looks like he's just trying to follow his line a bit, learn from him through turn 3 now. Doesn't want to hit the dirt and just keeps it on the curb, which is pretty much the limits you want to be. Compromised it a little bit, but used it to try and keep himself on the track. Let's see how this goes up to the chicane. Takes it a bit safer this time so he doesn't lose time. He's actually pretty much dead on with his previous time, so good run overall from him. Don't take too much. Too much. And that's invalid, but he's... Oh, I think he's going to stop. He had time for another one if he was going to keep going. Britt, though, great lap. Almost 3 tenths up. It's going to go 27.4. Burrs is 10 seconds behind. We'll have to see if he can match that. And Britt's still got one more lap in him, so maybe he can extend the gap to Burrs or make up the time if Burrs goes fast.
Burrs getting ready to do one last lap by the looks of it as well.
Yep, and he's pushing every single bit of that track used. A lot of the inside curb there. Same with the outside coming through the exit of turn 1 into turn 2. He's actually down at the moment, so I don't think he's going to be particularly pleased with that one. Of course, I don't think we've seen Burrs drive anything other than the Nissan in the past 3 months, so I wouldn't be... And there's the dirt. Yep. And there's bye-bye time.
Yeah, on the plus side for him, it doesn't look like Britt's going to improve in his time either. So these are pretty much the times as they stand. Sean's still out there on track, making some improvement. Could jump a position here if he keeps this up.
Well, that's what we want. We want the drivers to get as many positions as possible. They've still got time to improve. Brimblecombe now was 2 tenths up. Couldn't quite get the exit. Touches the dirt a little bit on the exit, but he's going to pull it up nicely with a 10th up. Currently sitting in P12. I reckon this is going to be some pretty spicy racing if people are going to be sticking this close.
Just lost that at the ends there. Oof. He needs about 2 tenths to jump up to P11, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it unless he gets a wicked exit out of this final chicane here.
Oh, I don't doubt some time to be found. A 10th. Is it going to be enough for a P11 finish? No. 28.7 though. Good lap overall. I think you'll be reasonably pleased with that one. Only one driver left, and that's Herod to come across the line. Is he going to go up P7 ahead of Ty? Doesn't. Only half a tenth behind Ty. So look at the times there. Rachmat P1, the 26.7, and Britt there 7 tenths off in P2. So Rachmat showing everybody how it's done. I've got to say, that was certainly quite exciting. Probably for everyone except Rachmat, who just decided to wipe the field. And, of course, hello to everyone in YouTube chat, now that I've actually got YouTube chat open. When everyone wants to ban Meg, that's valid, because Meg doesn't like the Bentley. I'm with Matt. The Bentley is good. If you don't like the Bentley, you need to check yourself, I think. Oh, that's a lovely spectacle there. Just all Bentleys. Like, I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, it's great. I love this car. Yeah, it's the correct hand drive. That's one of the best things about it.
It is. Except it throws you off when you're like me, who went to test the thing a little while ago. And you go from driving the Ferrari, and then you get in that thing going, hang on, where's the Apex again?
Yeah, it does.
Where is it?
Take some adjustment after you've been driving basically every other car in the game, except the Bentley is wrong hand drive, or like the McLaren where it's basically center hand drive almost.
Yeah, the McLaren I find is in a weird position, and it's fine because I don't drive it because I think it sounds like garbage.
I mean, you've already made an enemy of Meg by loving the Bentley. Now you've just made it worse.
Yeah. I know. It's an easy car to drive, don't get me wrong, but it sounds bloody awful. Drivers just finalising their strategies. And I will tell you if there's a mandatory pit stop or not, because I'm a silly man and forgot to check. Oh, there's 2 mandatory pit stops with a requirement for tyres in this lovely 60-minute race. So you're probably going to see 3 20-minute stints from those who want even stints. You might see some pit in early to get an undercut. I don't really know what's going to be the optimum strategy for a lot of these drivers, given the Bentley's pretty good, or was, I don't know if that's the case anymore, was pretty good on tyre wear.
Yeah, it's still quite good on tyre wear. The biggest issue it really has is with warm-up. The tyres still take a little bit to warm up, which is obviously what helps it a bit with tyre wear. But yeah, that is something that perhaps new drivers to the Bentley won't be quite accustomed to and might have been finding a bit of a challenge, particularly there in qualifying, because yeah, they do tend to take a lot to get temperature in.
Well, that's okay. They've got a lap to get temperature into them. That's fine. That's all they need. I'm just going to get underway here for the formation lap. See them single file. The race director giving them instructions, and then they'll come around nearest to the final corners and get themselves underway for the start of this race.
I mean, obviously, Ruckmutt's the clear favourite here with a time like that in qualifying, but what are we expecting for the race? Do you think Britt and Burs can single out a challenge, or do you think they're going to be doing the big battle for P2 there?
Well, I think Ruckmutt will probably run away unless he has a bad start, then Britt could get in there, but I think you want to be really looking out for, that Britt-Burs battle. Hignett McNeil tyre might get in there, or it might be Herod Ty. You probably see a lot of battles of 2 here, or you might see a massive train and they'll just completely ignore me. They could do that too. Nice speedy outlap here. Of course, one of the shorter circuits here at Zolder. I can't think of what the shorter circuit in terms of, or faster circuit in times might be. Laguna is probably the one I have in mind.
Yeah, I think it's Laguna Seca, but there's potentially some other ones there. There's some pretty quick tracks out there. Snetterton's pretty fast, but who would know, because no one ever races there.
Snetterton's 145, 46 laps, something like that, so it's not particularly fast. Okay. I think Laguna's the only one that's a minute 20 something.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Laguna is still the shortest, but I'm sure someone in chat can correct us if we're completely incorrect.
One thing we won't be incorrect about is this race about to get underway. We might see some incidents here. So round comes Ruckmutt on pole with Britt beside Burs, Hignett on the second row, McNeil, Ty, Herod, Curry, Taplin and Sykes in the top 10. You got Matterford, Brimblecombe, Dianrama and Scarney behind us. We're about to go green here. Wait for the lovely man to wave the green flag. The 5 green lights, we're away here. Great start for Ruckmutt. Burr's got a really good one on Britt, but has to back out. Hignett's going to go around the outside. Ruckmutt's having absolutely none of it, coming straight away. No yellow flags yet. Down into turn 2. Side by side. Hignett and Burs. Hignett, I reckon, is actually going to get through here and does, only just. Pulls out wide to block the path of Burs. Britt's going to try and hold on to the slipstream of Ruckmutt here to pull away from the guys behind. Oh, dirt there for Burs and McNeil. McNeil's going to get through. Ty's stuck. He's going to have to hold back. He might hold back in case there's an incident. There's some other people behind. No incidents yet. I say that and I'm seeing almost 3 wide in the chicane. I do not recommend that. Coming through now, Hignett up into P3, Burs behind in P4. Ruckmutt hasn't pulled away with this yet, and Hignett's actually catching Britt a little bit. So maybe Britt's going to have a little bit of competition behind from Hignett this time rather than Burs, who didn't have the most luckiest of starts, and Ruckmutt's just pulling his way down into the lovingly hairpin.
We did have a little bit of sadness through the chicane there. We didn't quite see it, but there was one car that did get sent off into space a little bit. Didn't quite catch who it was, but yeah, we have had one casualty from the chicane. But altogether, a pretty good start.
Yeah, not the worst start I've definitely seen at Zolder. I've seen worse starts, aka starts not lasting further than turn 1. Don't recommend anyone take that approach, but Brit now pulling away in the slipstream of Rachmat to Hignett, who's got Ty behind Burrs. Maybe it was Burrs that was flying at the chicane, potentially, if he's dropped all the way back to P7, or maybe he's had an incident through the chicane. Maybe got a bit caught up. Taplin as well dropped back a little bit. McNeil's in the same position he was before Ty's gotten through. Herod's there as well. Burrs in there fighting Sykes as well. Brimble Scarney as well in there. Although I can't see the deltas, I'm going to blame you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm looking into that.
I'm just going to pretend I can see the deltas. So we see Scarney just fighting with Taplin. Taplin got a great run out of the chicane. He's going to have the inside into the first part of this next chicane, but if Scarney holds it, I reckon he was looking a bit rough through there. Pulls it up nicely though. Taplin does get through. There's a nice line of Bentleys through here. Everyone's still tightly packed here in the midfield. Down to the hairpin. Scarney. Right beside there with Taplin. Don't think he's going to get the edge. Look at the lovely windmill there in the Belgian background. Scarney's not going to be able to send this one down the inside. Certainly going to give him maybe a bit of a touch up, and actually spooked him a bit. If Scarney can get the exit here, he could have him to turn 1, but couldn't pull that one out. Got Matterford behind as well now. Down towards the turn 1. Brit's actually just gone fastest lap there as well, so maybe he's on a charge to get Rachmat earlier, put a bit of pressure on him. Now we've got Babsy in chat saying, is there anything better than a grid of boats? No, there isn't. I agree. There is nothing better than a grid of boats. Hondas. I don't know. I reckon it could be a grid of Hondas. That would also almost be better. Certainly almost on par.
Last week was
no,
GTRs at Imola.
You're just wrong.
Objectively right.
You are simply wrong. No, Luke, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. Grid of GTRs is not the answer. Someone said grid of V12s. Well, funnily enough, you might get to see that. Who knows? Oh, this is a nice line of 5 Bentleys, being led by the lovely man that is Hignett. He's got Ty following right behind him. McNeil's a little bit further back. Herod Burr's all in there as well. So a lot of drivers just wanting to get in on the action here. Ty a little bit later on the brakes. I think he held it a bit longer than Hignett did, but got a great exit. He might look to turn 1 here. It hit the bump. Maybe just stick the nose out, Stephen. Put a bit of pressure on, and does, but won't put it in. And he almost should have, because Hignett must have went a little bit too deep there on entry, but pulled it up nicely down to turn 2. Good run there. McNeil's just lurking here. If I was McNeil, I'd almost just wait to see if there's an incident, unless he thinks he's got the pace, then absolutely put the nose in. Have a bit of a battle there, son. Down through turn 3 now up towards the chicane. No dirt hitting for anyone there, so no real time loss. Let's see what can be done through here. See the different lines people take. They're all pretty much following each other, taking more or less the same amount of curb as well. So good one there for the drivers overall. So here is the race leader, Fali Rachmat, at the moment, coming down towards the final corner, 1.6 seconds ahead of Brit, who did have fastest lap. Fadley's stolen it back off him now. We'll see what it is when he comes across the line. Oh, great. I've just seen the deltas are there. My day has been made.
Yep, we got deltas on for a moment.
Can we blame Kunos?
Can.
Okay, great. Let's blame Kunos then. Wow, Rachman is looking super consistent at the moment. Britt caught him in that final sector, but Rachmat's looking extremely consistent. Look at the amount of curb that he is using there. Not near as little as margin as anyone else. It's just, that's a lot of curb there. But he's held it nicely. Coming down to the chicane. Almost 2 seconds ahead of Britt now. Hignet's 3.1 behind. Ty's there. McNeil's is in that one as well. Herod's not too far behind, but he's got Burrs behind. Sykes is in his own little world there. 2.6. Also now behind Burrs, but he does have Matterford there. Payno's in there. Scarney's in there, so there's a great little battle there as well. You can look at about 4 different battles at the moment. So we see Nagel and Brimblecombe have actually gone for their first mandatory pit stops of the night, maybe just trying to differ from those ahead of them, which is certainly a bold strategy, but I must say I like it.
Yeah, it's not a bad option in these 2-stop races. They definitely open up a few more strategy options than the single stop does.
Bit of a rough exit there for McNeil. Coming down to turn 1. Probably needs to amp it up a little bit if he wants to put in a challenge to Ty. Had the pace before, but maybe starting to drop off a bit. Maybe has a bit more of an aggressive setup with knowing there was 2 mandatory pit stops, which is more than possible. So we'll see. He maybe makes that pit stop, might go a bit earlier than the guys in front to differ to their strategy. Try and throw them off and make them blink first and have them make a not very good mistake. Wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And he just under 10 minutes into this race now. Got Ethan Payno P11 at the moment. 17's behind Matterford up ahead there, who's dropped back from tackling a bit, so maybe a mistake there. All the drivers using a fair chunk of... I was going to say that's a Bentley off, but they're all Bentley, so ignore me. 2:30, that is Stephen Ty, who is off. Now, if I was him, I'd probably look to jump in the pits, try and alter the strategy now. He's made that mistake. That's a pretty good team name. What is a curb? And considering he's just hit one. That is very ironic indeed.
Yeah, probably not the best. But maybe take an early pit stop, do something like that to try and offset that little mistake there. See, I mean, we know Ty's got the pace, so shouldn't worry him too much with the pack. It's still very close together. There's not too many big gaps.
Question is, can Stephen Ty make his way back up? He's got a couple of drivers ahead that might seem to hold him back a bit, but I'm sure something can be put in here. As you see, Payno up ahead, just trying to put in that challenge with Matterford, but compromised his turn 1, and now Ty's going to be all over him. A little bit early on the brakes there, just trying to really manage the exit well. He's going to chuck the car on the inside, but it's not going to be enough to get something done through turn 2, maybe through turn 3 or 4 or whatever number it is. You can pull something out if Payno hits the dirt and doesn't, so he's probably going to have to hold back for the chicane. Was looking for an opportunity, but I don't think he's going to get it done here. Goes late on the brakes. Almost followed Payno. Oh, that was a nice bump there. That actually gave him a weird amount of grip on the exit. He's going to take Payno. Payno just, I think, lifts there knowing that he probably a bit slower there from time. Didn't want to lose out to Scarney, so to keep going. Oh, almost lost it on exit, let alone losing it to Scarney. See in the bottom right there, Rachmat, our current race leader. 3.5 seconds ahead of Britt now, just really controlling this race, controlling the momentum of it. Herod's had a nice one. She's just gotten past McNeil now, up into P4. So that's a good little jump from him. I agree with Luke Johnson. No, Stephen, I'm gonna tell him off after this, and you can do the same. Disciples of Speed. I'll judge everyone's team now. 15-second penalty though for Curry. Maybe something from the stewards, I believe. Maybe for a bit of an incident earlier in the race. So you'll have to serve that in the mandatory pit stops. The first one he hasn't taken just yet. We might see some more drivers take in the next 5 minutes or so. And then maybe the ones that are going to go for a 20-minute stint. Probably the next 10 minutes or so we'll see that change for them. Coming through the chicane, Herod looked really solid through that second bit. Didn't take as much curb. Wanted to keep the car as stable as possible. Doing a nice job to just hold it ahead of McNeil. Don't know if I like the livery though. That's certainly a mix of colours I didn't think I'd see.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't think you could. There could be a Bentley I didn't like much, but I'm not a fan of that one. Sorry, Harry.
Hello to new people in chat. Aim Tully's in here. Lucas Keys, welcome in. Virtues, the 6th, 7th try. I'll get my Roman numerals right. Payno's got a 10-second. Brooker's got a 10-second. So these probably those lap 1 incidents or maybe a bit later. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, they've actually held it together and Payno's let him through. Probably would with those penalties. But that's okay. Let's have a look at that again. Payno got a bad exit, hit the dirt and just lost it, gassed it up too much and let Scarney through, which I think is probably the nice thing to do.
Yeah, just a little racing incident there. Not really anything Scarney could have done to avoid that. So, yeah, nice of Payno to just sort of let him through there, and it looks like he's taken this opportunity to pit.
Pits where he will serve that penalty. 4 seconds ahead, Rachmat is of Brit, and so is Brit ahead of Hignett. Heron's not too far ahead of McNeil. Burrs isn't too far behind, trying to make a bit of a recovery. Sykes 4.5 behind Burrs, so he's in a little bubble there. Taplin's in his own little bubble as well. Ty, though, battling with Matterford for P9. Maybe he's going to... stuck the nose in, but Matterford wasn't too scared there. Didn't cut him off because he wasn't close enough. Through the lovely fast right hander. A little bit of a dirt hit there for Ty. Down to the hairpin. Goes a bit later on the brakes. Saw that one coming. Couldn't quite get the exit that Matterford did there because he went for that later brake approach. And trying to do everything he can to get the car in check. Down to final corners. Matterford got an absolutely stellar run through there. So did Ty. So they're really matching each other here at the moment. Coming up towards turn 1. Maybe Ty's going to stick the nose out just to scare him a little bit. Might have learned his lesson. Does back off a little bit. You just saw that lift there. Through turn 1. Maybe he's going to get a better run than Matterford turn 2. Hits the brakes the same time. Doesn't quite get the turn in. Matterford seems to have that one under control. But we'll see down through lovely fast right-hander, even though that's about 90% of the track. What plays out? Matterford got the run. Ty's hit the dirt, so that's going to be a bit of time there for Matterford. Maybe half a tenth of that down towards the chicane.
Ooh, big lift to the rear wheels from Ty.
Stephen asking what is a curb, but has he bothered to ask how is the curb? Maybe you should ask him if he's asked that.
Have a look again at Ty here. He copped a lot of curb there, bounced the rear end. That would have cost him a fair bit of time.
Just love the bounce over that curb. It's absolutely hilarious.
I mean, maybe he's just illustrating what is a curb.
Like the car's on a bouncy castle of suspension. It's quite entertaining as the cameraman can't work out what day it is. And then he's going to move and then immediately switch cameras. Yep, thank you, cameraman. Really appreciate that.
We can blame Kunis for that one.
Down to the final corners once again here. 45 minutes to go. Ty again's got the exit, but it's not going to be able to do anything on Matterford. Ooh, sticks the nose out, but I reckon he lifted did. Matterford had the run. Ty's using the curb, which is the right thing to do. He's going to have to stick it in here. And he did, but Matterford's going to have the exit unless Ty can keep the inside, but he's going to have to stick back behind again.
Yeah, he's just not finding that opportunity, is he? Matterford putting up a
very good defense. One day this will resolve. One day.
Yeah, really good defense here, I think, from Matterford. He knows exactly where to put that big boat. It is a very wide car, so good one for defending in.
Yeah. Through the chicane once again. Matterford still just holding on from Stephen Ty. Hopefully something can be pulled out. We can see driver just taking that pit and going to serve that penalty. Through the fast right-hander they go. Nice use of the curb there. Nothing too worrisome at the moment. see what happens under the braking points here. Ty again. Just can't quite pull it out. I thought there might have been a bit of a better exit there, but no, that's okay. Still plenty of time to make this happen. Maybe a pit stop's going to be needed for Ty here to really offset what's going on with Matterford. I could be completely wrong, but he might just not be able to hear me and just continue on with his merry day. See, excuse me, how it plays out for them both.
Yeah, Matterford just looking a little bit unfazed mostly at the moment, just holding his line, keeping it nice and steady, and not really giving Ty that opportunity he needs, even under braking into the chicanes, just handling it very well.
One day the Bentley might get some grip under suspension, just maybe.
Maybe.
Can't guarantee anything. McNeil now back on board with him. So sort of between two drivers. Got Burrs 1.3 behind. He's also got Herod up ahead, so maybe there's a warranted pit stop. I know I keep saying that and they're not going to listen to me, but that's what I would be doing. I'm in a battle. Ty, of course, as soon as we go off him, gets past Matterford. So let's see if we can pull that up. Yep, just at the hairpin, got the better run and sticks it absolutely beautifully on the apex and the curb. So he's pulled that one out now. He's got some clear air ahead. Maybe he needs to stay out a bit longer and try and make use of that, then jump into the pits, maybe with an alternative strategy.
Yeah, not much Matterford could do there. It looks like he made a mistake a little bit earlier coming out of this second chicanes, and yeah, it cost him, and Ty was just able to take advantage of it. That was the opportunity he was looking for, and he got it.
Neil back on board again. Of course, the minute we look away, something happens. Down towards the second chicane. Wants to catch some time on Herod. Sort of mixing and matching each other in certain... So that's too much. That's going to be a track limit warning. I wonder if we'll see any drive-thrus here for track limits. It's certainly a possibility here, especially through corners like that. Or taking too much of the first chicane. That is more than certainly a possibility of happening.
Yeah, especially in the Bentley.
That's Pano just up ahead in that lovely pink car. Took the first pit stop. It's a couple of laps down as well, so maybe there's been an incident for him being so far down. Someone jumps in the pits. Couldn't quite catch it. Well, I'm assuming that must be Britt. No, it's Hignett. Count maths. And it's quite a deceiving pit lane here. You think you can speed through there, and then you get, oh, hang on, there's a left-hander, and then it's a right, and then I'm in the pits, and it certainly throws a couple of people off, and Tappan's decided to follow Hignett into the pits to serve their first mandatory pit stop, going for the 20-minute stints each. Paul Britt now 5 seconds behind Rachmat, so maybe he looks to alternate the strategy. Looking at the current rate, I don't know if he's got a chance to beat Rachmat. He's certainly got a chance if he can get a good pit stop of getting back in contention to fight with Rachmat, but I don't know about the whole getting past idea, especially at a track here like Zolder. You've got very limited opportunities to get the moves done.
Yeah, especially when everybody's in the same car, so, you know, it really comes down to just drivability, maybe a little bit of setup, and obviously other factors like your tyre wear and where you are at is all going to make the difference here, and yeah, it's not the easiest track to pull off an overtake at.
To first time chatter Zednito. I've probably completely butchered that for those in the Twitch chat. This is the Spec Series where all the drivers vote on a car each week and they all drive it at the given track. So it's restricted to Bentley only this week, and they voted between the 2015 Bentley and the 2018 Bentley. And the 2018 Bentley, of course, won the toss on that. I think because the 2015 Bentley is known for not having very good traction control, and I don't think anyone wanted to deal with that. So completely understandable. So they'll look to full advantage of that. I don't know what the vote is next week. I might try and find out for you to get everyone excited.
I believe it's Aston's next week from memory.
I can tell you the track next week's Watkins Glen, and the vote was between the V12 Vantage and the M6 BMW. You can all guess what's probably winning that vote, but I'll let the imagination run wild. Yeah, that's right. We do get to watch cars that, aren't seen very often. You see the Bentley a bit more now that the BOPs come in very kindly from LFM. But yes, you might have seen the Nissan in there. Sometimes we had the Nissan last week in the Spec Series. So good to see some of the cars certainly coming into their own series here, getting a chance to be on the big stage where you might not see them in the Sprint Series like you would tomorrow night for Split Blue and Split Red. So make sure to stay tuned tomorrow night for that. Of course, we still have Split Green coming up here in the Spec Series, and the same for EU and North America as we see Paul Britt come into the pits now. He's going to take his first mandatory. Rakhmat might just run his own strategy. I think Britt was just waiting for Rakhmat to see if he could follow him in, but it's not the case. Of course, top 8 at the moment still haven't taken their first mandatory, with the exception of Gulick there. So hopefully they'll look to take that soon. McNeil as well follows Britt, and a little bit of gap between them. So just see how that one might affect the standings. I don't think there'll be a huge difference. Herod's back on track now. Currently the second driver provisionally of those that have pitted once already. Of course, we've still got Britt. Matterford jumped in the pits as well, and McNeil. So we'll see what happens when they come out of the pits.
Well, McNeil will be looking to try and jump.
A bit touch and go with McNeil and Herod as they were battling before. So we'll keep an eye on that one as McNeil on his way just past Matterford there. That's Britt on the way out of the pits. Herod's coming through now, so maybe I reckon McNeil's going to have this one. If he can just pull this one through, and you'll be able to see him coming around the turn. Oh, and Herod's going to just pull this one out by the barest of margins. If that turn wasn't there and it was a straight pit lane, I reckon McNeil would have had that one. But that's okay. We'll just blame whoever designed the track. And the silly names at the corners here have that I'm not even going to dare pronounce. So there we go. Rakhmat is in the pits. Probably saw Britt pitting and decided, yeah, I'm going to throw that one into the pits. And coming up to the chicane now is McNeil. Currently it's at P9, but of course that will change once the other drivers ahead do pit. So we see Stephen Ty has now jumped into the pits. We needed to try and make use of that clean air, so he can chuck a fresh set on now and really go for it. He's only got one pit stop left to make, so he might go for a 20-minute stint here and then finalise with a 15-minute stint, or just go completely off strategy to see how that one plays out for the drivers. Reasonably clean so far, Mike, but of course there's a couple of incidents there, probably from lap 1 or 2.
Yeah, there was a couple of bits at the start there, but for the most part everyone's kept it pretty clean.
Mike doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah, kept it pretty clean there. Apologies,
I
just
thought you
realised
didn't want to talk to me.
I've been pushing the wrong push to talk button for the last 20 minutes. So sorry you've been talking to yourself there.
Are you kidding?
No. I do have two keyboards throughout this broadcast, so I've been pressing the wrong button. My apologies, Mitch. I'm very sorry. I've left you on your own.
Silly man.
Missed all my amazing insights.
Oh, great. I can't wait for you. As long as you're not giving us JP Sneakers type puns, that's okay.
Never.
Good.
Only Peach can deliver those kinds of puns.
Yes. Deliver he can. Get an audience. Well, we'll leave that up to your imagination, that one.
We got Sykes coming in the pits now. One of the last to pit. Brookers still needs to pit and has got a 10-second penalty, so not going to gain much out of that. But we do have most of the field have done their first pit stop. Still one more to go for them. It looks like everyone opting for a short final stint.
Yeah, interesting opting for the shorter stint, because I'm not sure how that might go with being on the colder tyres in comparison to the driver behind or driver ahead even, that might be on those, the 5-minute older tyres, but there's certainly going to be 5-minute warmer tyres. So be interesting to see how it plays out in terms of gaining that time. Not that Rackmat's probably concerned being still that almost 5-second gap to Britt. Hignet's not too far behind. Herod is going to get in on that battle. McNeil's there too. Burrs too far behind as well. Just 3.3 seconds now. Stephen Ty a long way back from them in his own little bubble. Almost 10 seconds behind Burrs. So Bullock still yet to pit. Bring Stephen Ty back up into P9. Everyone else has taken their first pit stop other than Chris Brooker, of course. I think Chris just wants to be in P1.
I mean, yep, I'm guilty of doing that.
Well, I mean, I've got a solution. It's just called B in P1 in the first place.
I mean, that's easy for you to say, Mitch.
Well, it's not as easy as you make it sound.
I do know that. It is
Yes.
definitely something that takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to be right up there. Like someone like Rakhmat is not getting those fast times through luck. They're doing it through a lot of patient practice and a lot of, I suppose, it's skill, but it's not like a natural talent sort of thing, is it? It's
Well,
practice makes
for
perfect.
some it is actually. I tend to think, there's those people that go from playing F1 and, can jump on ACC and within half an hour they're, not far off the quick times. There could be, half a second off or a second off, which for having not played very long is unbelievable. I mean, James Baldwin did the same. He come from F1 and then became one of the best, ACC drivers out there, and then is now doing Rensport. So there's certainly, of course, time and effort, but there's also that natural skill that's just it's rare, but you see some drivers have it. And Rakhmat is, I tend to believe he's one of those. He of course puts in the time and effort, knowing what goes on the background for him. And same with the likes of Bokita, O'Hara, all of them. Speaking of effort, Herod's made a great effort there, wanting to get past Hignet. So we see Rakhmat fighting with Brooker, but of course Brooker, I'd be pitting if I was Brooker. I wouldn't want to be blocking Rakhmat if I was him, because he's probably getting a good old flash of the lights or maybe a bit of a hurry up there. We'll see if Brooker goes straight on here, and yes.
Yeah, that was going on for about a lap, and I was wondering when he was going to give that position up, and he wasn't, so fair play. He doesn't have to.
Now.
Yeah, he doesn't have to give the position up. Technically, he is ahead on track. That's not a blue flag situation, but yeah, I mean, if I had Rakhmat behind me, I'd be pretty keen to just let him go and let him do his own thing and get on with my own race.
Absolutely, just be the good sportsman and get out of the way. Run the race, fight with those that you're fighting with. Here's Hignet, though, fighting with Herod. This is currently for a podium position. We've seen Herod slowly work the way up. I think he started P7, so it's great to see him up in P3 at the moment. He'll be more than pleased with that result so far. Still half an hour to go, so of course anything can change. 25 minutes left in the pit window. Of course, that opened 5 minutes into the race, and we'll close with 5 minutes left.
Another bit of a battle here for P9.
Yeah, certainly a nice battle. Oh, Taplin going for a different line.
Getting right up in his rear bumper. I think he's forced a bit of a mistake there out of Sykes. Sykes going a little bit off. Ooh.
Bit deep.
I believe that may have been a little bit of a punt from behind. Yep, just getting a slight tap there from Matterford. Outbreaking himself a little bit and giving Taplin a bit of a punt. Oh, as we see more chaos has happened while we were not looking. That's okay, we can look again. So it does look like, and that's Sykes going off of his own accord and rejoining. So it didn't cost Taplin that much at the end of the day, but it has cost Sykes 2 positions there, unfortunately, as Matterford continues to now challenge Taplin, and we'll see if Taplin can run away with it now he hasn't got that traffic ahead of him.
Taplin got Matterford behind. Sykes is not too far behind there either. Maybe he wants to get on in this battle again. Maybe just wait for a mistake from one of these two to see get any gain position.
Yeah, just have to see if Taplin can run away a bit. It's hard to tell because obviously he's been chasing Sykes there for a little bit, so we're not quite sure just how much quicker he was than Matterford at that time. There was that little punt, but I can't imagine there was too much damage. But I mean, even a little bit of damage to either car is going to make a bit more of an impact, I guess, when you're in equal cars. But I can imagine Matterford also picked up some damage from that as well. So they're probably both suffering a bit.
Yeah, the Bentley can sustain a little bit more damage, and now we've got Connor Hines saying that Bentley is no good. Well, that's wrong, and you're no good at answering your DMs that I'm sending you. So there you go. Oh,
a little bit personal.
Neil's here. Best looking grid ever. I agree. Yeah. Just throw it out there. I agree. This is the best looking grid ever.
Last week, better.
No, wrong. You're just wrong.
McNeil here has caught up thanks to this little battle between Herod and Hignett. So McNeil sort of back into this fight. So these three here. I will say, 3 Bentleys fighting it out on a track is still pretty exciting to watch.
Oh, any car fighting's exciting to watch, but when it's a Bentley, it's even more exciting. And in the pits, ooh, that's a bold strategy.
Yeah, maybe feeling he's being held up a little bit there by Herod. I mean, we did see McNeil catch pretty quickly. So maybe he just wants some fresh air, wants to get some better lap times out there, feels he's got more pace, so he's going to try and get the fresh air. There's not too many cars out there, so there is a lot of fresh air on offer if you can find it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hignett going to come into the pit to serve his final mandatory stop with 26 minutes to go, so maybe going for a longer final stint. See how that one goes in terms of times for him. Nagel has done all his pit stops. Now it's just a run to the end for him. See, Sykes had a bit of a moment there. Didn't quite get the run through turn 1 that was expected. Down into turn 2 now on the exit. Nice run through the lovely right-hand curve. Same through here. Keep it nice and fast. Couldn't quite hit the apex, and quick plug here, if you can't hit apexes, head to the walkthroughs we have here in OOR every week this season, and probably going forward we have a pro driver showing you how to head round these tracks for the upcoming week of sprint series and rookies and spec series. So make sure to head along to those. We had the lovely Ethan Cale take us through Zolder this week. Make sure to pop on in for those. You'll see the announcements jump in the OR Discord. I'm sure someone can put a lovely link in the chat somewhere for that.
Yeah, plenty of great resources available for anybody, whatever their skill level might be, whether you're brand new to ACC or sim racing in general. We've got the rookie series, so it's a great way to come in. That's how I got into it. That's how I became, somewhat competent, although I can barely scratch a 129 here at Zolder. But maybe that's more the Nissan than anything else.
Well, I've got a tip for you. Don't drive the Nissan. There you go. Problem solved.
I'm giving her one last go, and then I think it's going to be Honda for the rest of the time.
Oh, Jesus.
I like pain. What can I say?
Well, I know you like pain, and I know the Honda's fast, but just good luck trying to make it fast. I found pain trying to get a 32 at Misano with that thing. I did it, but it's painful.
Very
Oh, that's
little.
going to be a lot of dirt there.
Yep.
Oh. Don't like the dirt. It's not a good place to be. No real curb usage there from Sykes, just trying to keep the car together. So he gets a little bit further back now that he's done his final stop. Brimblecomb's decided to follow suit. Obviously some more drivers start to come in now, going for that final 20-minute stint, or maybe they'll wait for the last 15 minutes and go for a shortened stint. As Sykes just almost losing the rear end of the Bentley through there. Must be running a setup that might be a little bit aero heavy, or maybe a bit negative toe in the rear, which will be potentially over rotating the car through there. Of course, I'm no expert, so I can't tell you exactly what he's done.
Yeah, unlike Imola, there's probably not much advantage to running slightly lower downforce, because I mean that's something that could help you. At somewhere like Imola where it's got a nice big long straight. The Zolder straight's not particularly long, so running a bit less wing. Running a bit less wing might not be as helpful as it was at, say, Imola or somewhere like Bathurst.
Well, even somewhere like Imola, you don't really need to run lower wing. Bathurst, yeah, I'd agree, you probably run some lower wing, but Imola, Zolder, Barcelona, tracks like that, Brands, Snetterton, Knowlton, all those, you run pretty high wing. It's basically Paul Ricard, Monza, Bathurst, Spa, that you, and Suzuka maybe, you won't run the highest wing. So that's a pretty high wing that McNeil's catching on the back of Herod. Yeah, Herod's just worn the tyres a bit. Might even jump into the pits now, get some fresher tyres, but doesn't. I thought McNeil was almost going to give him a bit of a kiss there in the rear. Oh, pulled that exit up very nicely. Had a bit of a loose rear end, but certainly pull it through. Up to turn one, McNeil just going to put the outside, go for an outside-inside move. AKA switchback. Then to turn two's not going to get it done. Certainly going to get close, though.
Yeah, well, as we said before, very difficult track to get that advantage on and find that overtaking position. Particularly, again, same car, probably reasonably similar setups, fuel loads, all that kind of thing. It is going to be tricky to just find that opportunity, and you're really looking for those mistakes or trying to force those mistakes. And Austin's doing a good job here, really chasing down Herod, putting all the pressure on. But Herod's responding well. He hasn't made too many mistakes so far, so we'll just have to see how much longer he can put up this defense. I mean, maybe if I was Austin, I'd be considering, getting into the pits, get that fresh air, try and overtake that way. Because it looks
Absolutely.
Like Herod's gone into the pit.
He didn't want the pressure of, oh my goodness. Certainly pushing that entry into the pits. My goodness. That was certainly something else. And you might see some drivers tonight also heading themselves in the Sprint Series tomorrow, because the drivers can drive both series if they wish to. And of course, both these series, well, I know Sprint Series will be. Maybe the Spec Series will be back next year as well. Who knows? Secret. I don't know. I can't tell you. Ask an admin. Mike, do you know?
I'm not an admin. I'm a moderator. Very different.
Damn it.
I know nothing.
Oh, you know nothing. Nothing. What car are you going for next Sprint Series season then?
Honda.
No, you can't do that. You've put yourself through enough pain. No.
No, I can and I will. It's either the Honda or, I don't know, something really left field like the Porsche.
Oh, that's a good way to cry.
I like crying. We've been through this. Nissan, Honda, Porsche. He's sensing a theme here. True. He's sensing a pattern.
Bad cars? No, actually, the Honda's good, except it's bad to get pace out of it. So, yeah, sure. Now we have the Honda and Porsche army coming in. The Honda army of Chris Taylor and the Porsche army of Brad Cook.
completely unbiased opinion there from Brad. No, it's not a
Eamon
Porsche.
Tully's telling you that you should pick the Bentley.
Look, the Bentley's it's good, but I do struggle to get that sort of pace out of it. I don't really struggle too much to get pace out of the Honda, but my definition of pace is perhaps a little slower than others. But I do find that the Bentley, I do, much like the Aston, I sort of struggle to get that kind of peak performance out of it and to improve on it. It's one of those things where I think you really need to spend a lot of time with it, getting the setups right. But I mean, the Honda's no different. I think there's just something about the way you set the Honda up that I enjoy a lot, and that's why it's a very similar thing with the Nissan. I like tweaking and I like fiddling around with the setups and, you know, doing lots of random clicking and seeing what works, basically. Honda's good for that.
And Connor Hines says both cars suck. That's just wrong.
I love a good
It's
bucket.
amazing how you do really love a good bucket. 17 minutes just over left now. We'll see. Maybe Rackmat's going to pit. Britt does, though. McNeil not blinking yet. Burrs isn't either. Neither's Ty or Matterford. They're probably going to go maybe for some longer stints in this middle part of the race. Taplin also jumps in the pits. So he's just on his way out, in fact. So Curry now. It's that P8. Still got one pit stop to do. Nice bouncy through the curb. Gives some time. Oh, we're having people drop out everywhere. Somebody disconnected. This is not the good.
Yeah, hopefully just an internet problem and not an Alt F4 moment, but I haven't seen anything come up, so I don't think there's anything too major there. I see a stop go 30 there for Taplin, though.
Yeah, speeding pit lane, I'm going to suggest that will be.
Yep.
And Chris Taylor saying Honda is the crazy girl you know you shouldn't but will.
Accurate.
Yeah, look, can't relate. Can't relate. Can't relate to these old people. Take that how you will. Oh, that's a spirited exit of the pits. Britt, holy moly.
Wouldn't expect any less from him.
He was very keen to get back on track. Burr's also just about to come out of the pit box and out of the pits. Here he goes now. Let's hope he has maybe just a calmer exit out of the pits than what Britt did. Rackman's still not pitted yet. McNeil, Ty, Matterford, Sykes still yet to pit. Curry and Brooker are the last ones. So see them probably make their move sooner rather than later. I'm just reiterating that, Chris. That's what I'm here to do. Make everyone feel old. Oh, that dirt. I almost shed a tear every time I see someone hit that dirt. That upsets me.
Yeah, I think I felt old the minute I learned your age, Mitch.
You didn't feel old before?
No. Surprisingly, I felt quite young, and then I learned how young you were, and I was like, oh no,
yep.
Suddenly my back was hurting.
You're old.
And,
yeah.
You know, I couldn't. I was groaning every time I stood up. It just became. Yeah. Existence became painful. It's all your fault, Mitch.
Right. You're welcome to blame me.
And I shall.
Oh, great.
So we've got Austin.
Oh, there's
Rackmat,
Matterford.
Ty, Matterford, all in the pits now. So this seems to be it. Everyone going.
No, Rackmat's not in the pits. You really
15.
are getting on. You can't see. Oh, now Rackmat's in the pits.
Rackmat's in the pits. I'm watching him.
Yeah, I don't think that McNeil's in P2 there, board on car. I think you're a bit wrong.
Yeah, no.
Just a tad.
Yeah, Rackmat
double Rackmat.
hasn't looked like losing this.
If you say that and he loses it now, I'm going to blame you.
And rightfully so, I'd say. That's a pretty good commentator's curse I've put on there. But, I mean, it might make the race a bit spicy. Rackmat can just get angry in my DMs later. Sykes there taking a lot of...
Sykes has almost made his game, his race spicy by hitting the dirt and almost hitting the wall. I may have done that before, and I don't recommend it.
Yeah, Honda's particularly bad for that, actually.
Oh, it gives you a good reason not to drive it.
I think I still...
Oh, straight in the pits. It's a nice spirited entry. Yep, yeah, very spirited entry. Make sure to get the brakes on before a lovely 50 kilometre an hour pit board there. Rackmat on his way out. McNeil's fair chunk behind as the cameraman Zolder still doesn't know what day it is, and he'll switch camera now anyway. Got
Had a few
Herod just up ahead and Hignett behind. Yeah, must have. I hear the chocolate's good from there.
Yeah. I would like to take this time to point out too that this is the superior Belgium track. You're free to at me in my DMs.
I don't think either of them are that good.
Well, at least we agree that Spa isn't that good, I suppose. That's something.
Spa is very overrated, I find. Like, it's not terrible, but I prefer it over Zolder, but still, they're just meh. Zolder's probably my least favourite track ever.
Snetterton? You drive Snetterton before you drove Zolder?
No, I drove Zolder before I drove Snetterton. And I still dislike them both. I'd prefer Alton over Snetterton, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, that's a pretty obvious choice, though. Alton is an amazing track.
No.
Oh, Mitch, we just disagree on everything. This is great.
Although I don't like Silverstone.
I like Silverstone. I didn't initially, to be honest. Silverstone's a track that grew on me, particularly with ACC. I never liked it driving in the
See, I'm the
F1
opposite.
games.
ACC made it worse for me.
Ah. No,
But then my favourite track's Kyle Army, so...
Yeah, Kyle Army's a good track. I love Sunset. It's a beautiful corner.
Now that I don't agree with.
Well, we'll just have to completely agree to disagree on absolutely all topics.
Everything.
Cars, tracks, corners. What else could we disagree on, Mitch? We agree on the Bentley.
No idea.
To be fair, we agree on the Bentley.
Yeah, Bentley's very good.
It's a very nice car.
If it had more ballast taken off it, I'd probably drive it. But it doesn't.
Yeah,
Corey's in the pits.
Could do with maybe another extra 20 kilos off the max of 40 that they allow.
Oh my god. This Connor Hine bloke, I'm going to find him. Just like McNeil's found the dirt. My god, he's just said Kyle Army's second worst track in the game.
Typical McLaren / Ferrari driver.
Yeah, but I drive a Ferrari and I like Kyle Army. Yeah, I agree, Eamon. Soon Mike will be shouting at me to get off his lawn.
Like the old man I am.
Yes, exactly. Get off my lawn. Righto. Sorry, sir. Oh, come on, Brooker. Pit. This is really annoying me. There's one person left to pit. It's really annoying my OCD.
He did pit pretty late on the first stint, so I imagine he's still got plenty of life in those tyres compared to everybody else, but I can't see it giving him too much of an advantage in position. It will be interesting to see if he does gain anything from this strategy, but I'm not sure he's going to get much out of it.
And now T-Mac saying that Paul Ricard is the worst track. No, it's not.
Yeah, again, Paul Ricard track that grew on me. Paul Ricard's one of those tracks, though, where hot lapping it can be a bit strenuous and a bit tiring.
Yes.
But racing at it, it's definitely up there. I think it's one of the better tracks.
It's always got good racing. It's probably the best track for racing, I think.
Yeah, nice and wide, plenty of overtaking opportunities, lots of different types of corners, and yeah, really good for endurance races and that kind of thing. As we see McNeil there going just a tad bit too wide, just testing. I wonder if he's got the full drive tyres on the Bentley.
Yeah, possibly.
He's done
gone for the Grand Tour spec.
Yep.
I don't see any snorkels or bars or anything, but sure.
Nobody making much of an impression. These three remaining close together. They've been close together pretty much the entire race. They've all sort of swapped positions here and there from time to time. Hignett sort of started out ahead and has dropped back. They continue to fight, these three, and still there's 10 minutes left. It's still anyone's battle, as none of them now need to pit. So it's all about who can put the pace down.
I'd like to formally apologise for the incorrect facts I gave earlier, saying that Laguna's the only track in the 1 minute 20s. There's also a little track called Donington.
I knew Donington was short, but I wasn't sure if it was that short. But yeah, Donington was short.
Yeah. 125s.
Yeah.
It's not the 120s and 21s that the aliens are doing at Laguna, but that's okay. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Connor does need to grow up. Kyle Army is indeed top 3. It is the best.
Putting driving
Don't
to
hit the
side-
dirt.
Oh, you almost did. If you put driving to the side, which of the Bentleys do you prefer to look at? 15 or the 18?
18.
I like the 15.
The taillights of the 15 are hideous.
It's just got more of that classic touring car look, I think, the 2015 Bentley. It's just more, it looks more of a boat. I mean, it's the boat reputation personified, I think, the 2015 version. The 18's a little bit too streamlined. A little bit too race car-like.
Nah. But Lucas Keys is disappointed. Brands was forgotten. Well, that's for a good reason. Because Brands is bloody awful.
Oh, once again, we must disagree.
No.
Love Brands Hatch. Wouldn't do a... it's not a good track for doing much more than sort of an hour and a half races on.
Correct. I wonder if we're ever going to hold our 96 years of Brands that we were planning to hold.
I will be there for it, and I will drive the Bentley. British pride.
Everyone's pitted now. My eyes. Much better.
Yep, so these last 7 minutes, people will be pushing to see if they can gain any times. It really looks like it's mainly this battle between Austin and Herod for that final podium position. Austin's been just chasing Herod for what seems like almost the entire race at this point, but just hasn't been able to find that opportunity he needs. He's got 6-7 minutes now, so he's going to push. Now's the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the old swapping of positions. Herod, whoa! Herod almost getting a bit of a kiss there from the front of McNeil. Herod was hunting down McNeil for probably the good first quarter of this race, and now it's a roles reversal. McNeil's hunting down Herod, so he's pushing everything he can. 6.5 minutes to go. Anything can happen here.
Loves a good spec race, Austin. He seems to do well in these. We did the BMW M2s. He did
I was going to say when he won the M2s, yeah.
Did pretty well last week in the Nissan, a car that he hadn't driven pretty much at all.
He had the exit and then just died in the butt.
Yeah, it was a bit of an opportunity there, and I don't think Austin quite took the advantage of it he perhaps should have. Always a bit dicey there. Not a lot of traction on the exit of that corner, and then especially at this stage of the race where the tyres are a little bit worse for wear, but they have been only running these tyres for about 10 minutes, so they should be in pretty good nick.
You say that, but it's not hard to destroy tyres if you're not careful.
Yeah, very true, especially when you're battling this close to other drivers.
Oh, a bit early in the break, McNeil goes, going to try and get the run out of the chicane and doesn't because he decided to hit some chicane. Maybe down into the chicane, put a bit of pressure on. No drive-through yet for any drivers for track limits, so that's good to see. Usually that's pretty common at Zolder.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen any drive-throughs. There might have been one and we've missed it, but as far as I've seen on the
oh my god. My disappointment is immeasurable for Connor Hines saying that Indy is the worst, absolute awful place. That is just incorrect. I'm upset by that comment.
I've got to side with Connor.
No, you're just wrong.
No, I disagree with Connor on that one. That's one of the ones I will disagree with Connor on. I do think Indy is a fine race circuit, and I think we should race it much more often than we do. I think we should race a lot of those American tracks more often than we do, like Kota and
maybe I should make me put together the next Sprint Series calendar, and we'll put in some new tracks. There you go.
My only request is we don't race Spa.
Oh, I can't promise that. It's okay. They won't make me put the calendar together. I'm not special enough.
V-Tech, exactly.
V-Tech. Oh, and McNeil's gone for a bit too much B-Tech there. Just,
Bentley Tech.
yeah, Bentley Tech. Or Braking Tech, whatever you want to do. Wow, Rachmat's 10 seconds ahead of Britt. That's disgusting.
Yeah, not usually the kind of gap you see to someone like Paul Britt. Normally he's right up there and challenging for those top positions, but yeah, just Rachmat's just led the field faultlessly for this almost entire race. He's been dealing with traffic and yeah, just hasn't looked like blinking, and has led it from the outset, and looks to have this really in the bag at this point. Even a mistake here is not really going to cost him.
Absolutely. Chris Taylor, 6 rounds of Watkins. Watkins is a track that I disliked originally, and it's really grown on me.
Yeah, Watkins
And
is a good
McNeil
track.
dislikes the tarmac by the looks of that. Tune in next week when we're at Watkins Glen, everybody.
Yep, in Aston's. I am looking forward
In
to
the
cranking the
V12.
volume.
You don't want to deafen the stream.
Yeah, if it's Aston V12s, I don't think anyone will complain. Am I right, chat? We won't even have commentary for that one. It'll just be the amazing sound
Just
of V12
be the
engine.
noise.
Yep.
Sure.
What's interesting is really the Spurs, I think. He's still in P6 there. He just doesn't seem to have recovered after doing reasonably well in qualifying. He's just dropped back behind all these guys and hasn't really been able to catch back up.
He's certainly struggling a little bit. Burrs is not too far off. Hignett now ties up into P7 after that little incident he had earlier in the race. Burrs is certainly stepping on the gas now. Coming out of the final corner, not too far off Hignett. McNeil still just sticking behind Herod, who's 25 seconds behind Britt. That's disgusting again. So,
Not quite
second
the
to last
close
lap for these
field
guys.
we had last week. Maybe it's the track, maybe it's the car. I'm going to say it's the car. Nissan Superior, closer racing.
That's just factually incorrect.
I mean, the facts don't lie. We had closer racing last week.
Yeah, but Bentley's more exciting. It's more exciting to look at.
GTR is the best looking car in the game, even if you think it's trash to drive.
Have you seen the 296? Have you
it's
seen
it's
the
ugly.
Porsche?
I drive the Ferrari and I hate every minute of it. As we hit into the final lap now, Rachmat very confident on the final lap here. Burrs is starting to catch Hignett. He might be able to get him. He's going to have another lap after this, so it'll be interesting to see if he can pull that together. Austin's still about half a second away from Herod. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make that stick, but Burrs does look pretty handy here as a challenge to Hignett. Hignett's going to have to put the defensive shoes on, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming onto the final lap now, Burrs will give it everything he's got. Didn't quite get the exit that Hignett did. I think he went a bit too deep, almost on dirt there, but nicely done indeed. We're about to tick over to 0 minutes and 0 seconds left in this race. Get the white flag out. Ooh, deep goes Hignett. Pulling up nicely. A little bit of lag there, though. Probably didn't help the whole point of view. Rachmat, our race leader, bottom right. 13.5 seconds ahead of Britt's got fastest lap as well, has led pretty much every single lap of this race. Got a great lap in quali, 7 tenths ahead of Britt. Oh, and Burrs might have something here because Hignett hit the dirt and he's going to stick it there. But pulls out of it. Knows better because Hignett was trying to defend the line, and Rachmat's going to come across the line to take P1 here. Zolder Spec Series split yellow race as Zolder going to come through quite a number of seconds ahead of Paul Britt, who will come across for P2, and Herod as well, as we see the ending remnants of this battle between Hignett and Burrs for a top 5 position. Hignett looks like he's going to hold on. And Herod's just going to hold on as well from McNeil. Only just. Nice and close battling. The whole race. Brick comes across the line. Herod, we just saw before, is going to come across the P3. Unless McNeil can pull something out of the locker, and gave it everything he did, but couldn't pull it out. And Herod's going to come across the line for a great race up into the podium positions. McNeil right there. Hignet's not too far behind with the battle with Burrs as well. Stephen Ty, good recovery from him up into P7. Is going to come across the line. We've still got Brooker and Nagel to come across the finish line as well. They're not too far behind either. So good race here for Split Yellow. Some little incidents we didn't quite catch, but penalties were given by the stewards for them. So those drivers dropped down a little bit. Taplin way down at the back had a bit of an incident. It was a stop go 30 for G Taplin as well. So unfortunate ones for a couple of the drivers. Some better race for others. Rackmat doing some celebratory burnouts at the hairpin. And there we go. That's it. Simple as that. That is over for Split Yellow. So we look towards heading to Split Green very soon. But we'll have a look at the final results. So we'll see here when the race button is clicked. There you go. Rackmat took P1, head of Brit by almost 14 seconds. And then Herod in P3, just holding off McNeil. Great battle. Role reversal there between those two throughout the race. Hignett and Burrs there fighting as well for top 5 positions. Stephen Ty, good recovery. Matterford there, good race from him. No real hiccups. Sykes, good top 10 finish. Scarney pulling it up there. Brimblecombe, good race as well. Curry had some penalties there, so that's why he's a bit further down. Brooker as well, good race with an alternative strategy. Nagel, Taplin, Gulick, L. Taplin, Payno and Dion Rama not finishing the race here in Split Yellow. Now, speaking of Split Green, I'm lovingly joined in this box, and we could talk for a bit because we're seeing that there's a minor delay between splits. We have Brad Cook and Connor, his very wrong hind.
G'day Hobbsy, g'day Mike. Yep, Connor is wrong about many things.
He is.
But I think I will agree with him that the Bentley is a bit of a subpar car, so
No.
just glad we're at Zolder.
Yep, evening. I'd just like to say the Bentley is no good, and Kyle Army is also no good, and Comms is on fire.
I can't. I can't deal with you.
Well, I mean, okay. I will apologise, but I stand by my words still.
Yes, because there's no point apologising. I'm not going to feel any better knowing you don't like the Bentley and Kyle Army.
I mean, what's so good about it?
The Bentley, it sounds great. It's on the correct side of the car. You can hit all the curbs except for this one. It's great. Doesn't use much fuel, doesn't use much tyres. Not as good as it used to be, I admit, but that's okay.
It sounds great, yes. It has 4 tyres and a seat and a steering wheel.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It has some bodywork.
The bodywork does look great, but
It does.
just the dynamics of the car it just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't give me that fizz, you know.
And you drive a car that makes me want to cry.
It's just like the Honda, Hobbsy. How do you feel about the Honda? Come on.
I'd much prefer the Honda over the Porsche.
I don't know how to take that.
I drove the Porsche for SRO IGTC final round, and I wanted to cry.
Yeah, no, look, I understand. I do like a bit of sadness in my life, which is probably why I see myself in sport most of the time.
Yeah, we agree
You like
on
to
that
feel
one.
the burn, feel the pain.
Who doesn't? Although I drive the Ferrari, so Connor doesn't anymore because he's a trader, everybody. You heard it here first.
I actually do still
Do you?
love hate the Ferrari. I drive it.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
still
a love-hate
waiting.
relationship.
Still waiting for the mid corner Ferrari DLC, but we'll get
Yep.
there. Also,
Yep.
the TC system to have 0.5s. That would be lovely.
Well, it's better than it used to be. You definitely needed 0.5s before. Now, not so much. You can get away with it.
Just going to sit here and listen to these Ferrari drivers complain about their car.
Yep.
Hey,
Even though it is probably the best race car in the game.
Depends what track you're talking.
Yeah, well, Spa and Monza are a bit of a
Yeah, I was going to say that.
bit of an odd one out.
No, I think the Ferrari needs a buff, if I'm honest.
Grow up, Connor.
Just buff it.
Just
it.
do it. Give me mid corner and I'll be happy.
All right. Well, we will say goodbye to Mitch now
Bye.
as we wait for obviously the server to come back, and yeah, we'll be right back, everybody.
Welcome to Octane Online Racing. This is the Simagic Spec Series, split green. My name's Connor Hind, and I'm joined by Brad Cook tonight again. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, Hindu. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Can't complain at all. Or actually, there's one thing I can complain about, and that's the car that is chosen for this week, because it's a definite downgrade from last week at Imola.
I don't know about downgrade. It's probably just a step to the side. It's still just a bit too big, a bit too slow. But at least we're at a good track. Nice, tight, twisty, bumpy track.
Are you suggesting that Imola is not a good track?
Imola is a
Silence
great.
it all.
I'm trying to find the positives for tonight. At least I'm not the one driving. I get to look at the pretty car and not drive the terrible car. So that's all that matters.
I agree. Mitch does need to grow up.
Well, look, we can talk about how good Zolder is as a track. I actually really rate Zolder. A very technical circuit. Also with a massive little jump, which you get style points if you jump it too with a trick.
Yeah, with the nose facing up in the air and the bum dragging along the ground. That's generally how it goes for me. I tend to pussy out a bit through that chicane. What's your attack method through there?
Well, I've only driven two cars around here, and that was the GTR and the Ferrari. And you just have max stiffness on the springs, and you use it like a monster jam jump. Just line it up, and away you go.
Yeah, I can't say I've driven many cars that can actually take that curb correctly. So I just have a little bit of a nibble at it and try and just thread the needle. But I'm sure these Bentleys will be yeeting as much of the curb as possible. So we see them still in free practice. I'm sure we'll be switching over not too far in the future.
Yeah, we did have some server issues, so I'm sure they're just giving the drivers some shakedown time that they might not have had. And yeah, we'll switch to qualifying soon.
Let's have a look at the names on the list. So obviously we had Johnson and Vintner and Skick Luna and Keys and stuff from last week and Lai. We got a few new names in this week. So we have Jake Wedburn in 10th place currently, or Yoda as he's known. Very fast driver, and the car looks excellent. I really rate delivery. And then seen really down low, he was 23rd, but he must have dropped out of view, was Denis Strelnikov. Another very speedy boy himself, so it'll be interesting as he's on the dirt. Way to not prove me right.
Yeah, Dennis, come on, get your act up. You got to prove Connor right. Maybe having a bit of trouble getting used to this this big lumbering piece of British engineering. I certainly wouldn't be going very fast in it myself, but it looks like we've just moved over to quali. So everyone going out for their warm-up lap. And yeah, who's your pick for pole tonight, Connor?
It'd be hard to go past like Johnson or Skick Luna last week, or Keys fighting for pole. But then I don't know if they've actually driven this car before. Has Yoda driven this car before? Can someone say in chat?
Oh, Yoda. He drove it at Misano, the last endurance race. He drove it with the Pixel Racers crew there. That's where the livery comes from.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. So he's definitely got a bit of experience under his belt. So I think that'll be my my pick for a sneaky pole. Yoda may be able to have the knowledge of this car and just stick it up there and get the edge.
Alright, you've stolen my pick turn. We can't both have the same pick, so I will go Denis Strelnikov, racing against Denis all season. He's a very speedy boy. I don't know if he's any good in a front engine car or in the Bentley, but we'll soon see.
It's probably going to be feeling quite foreign to him being on the correct side of the car, but he'll have to quickly adapt to that. So we see Yoda coming into turn 1, hits the apex nicely, using all of the track, and then lining it up to turn 2, meets the apex. Doesn't use all of the track there, keeps it nice and tight. And making sure he gets a good exit through here to make up as much time down the straight as possible, and preparing himself for the chicane of death.
Let's see how much he takes of the chicane. He clips a little bit, or not as much on the exit as I thought, and he's kind of spat him out wide a little bit.
Yeah, just a nibble. Probably wants to just get a banker in before he starts attacking the chicane mercilessly. Bit wide on the first apex. Takes as much as he can on the second there. Keeping it nice and tight. Just wanted to get a banker in, and then it'll be full attack from there. Hits the apex nicely and gets good drive. No opposite lock required.
Let's also put a rough time in for what the kind of pole lap times will be. Now, in the earlier split, we had Rashmat in the 26s, which is just mind-boggling, and he needs to grow up. But what do we reckon we'll see here in this split? Like 27s, 28s?
Oh, I reckon we might see a high 27. Feel it a higher 27. Definitely, that 26. I did have to go to the toilet after that and wipe my mouth. It wasn't a pleasant sight.
You were just foaming at the mouth, were you? Like just frothing, like.
Just I was almost considering uninstalling the game at that point, but look, I reckon we'll see a high 27. There's definitely some capable drivers of. Hey, that's a launch. Maybe a bit too much, but Layla will continue on. Still up.
Oh yeah, we also have Bell in this split was quite rapid last week too. So you have a kind of a group up there who all can challenge for pole or at least top 5.
Yeah, that top 5 at Imola was all pretty tight. I mean, Johnson and was it Keys, I believe.
Yeah, Keys.
Keys ran away with, just sort of gapped the 3 behind them, but it's still, the times were still quite tight between the top 5 or 6, so it's anyone's game.
As we see, Bell has improved slightly for a 28.7. As we hop on board with Skik Luna, it comes down to the hairpin. The corner names are kind of... Oh, he's a bit before the hairpin. After the hairpin, sorry. The corner names here are a bit tough, a bit impronounceable. As he comes out of the final chicane, he lost a little bit of time on exit there. He'll improve marginally, but still enough. I wonder if it'll chug him up a spot. Yeah, goes into P4 with a 29.1. Johnson has put it on pole with a 28.6.
Yeah, not too bad. Impronounceable, not sure if that's a word. If anyone in chat can just check on that one for me. I know Connor is Tasmanian, so he tends to make up his own words, as Johnson takes a fair chunk of that first curb there. Johnston, very tight. 0.025 between Johnson and Johnston. That's going to be very annoying if those two are close on track. Just losing time on this lap though. Nearly 2.5 tenths down coming to the chicane. As Johnson is invalid but has got 4 tenths, so I wonder whether or not he made that time up through an invalidation or he's got that time in hand.
I mean, it's pretty hard around here, isn't it, to make up a lot of time like that on an invalidation because of just how the track's laid out. Like, you can't do massive cuts and gain speed or time.
Yeah, usually when you're invalidating, you're in the dirt or you're completely offline for the next corner. as it's just about 2/10 between the top 5. So as last week, very tight. Yoda, can he find some time here? Nice. Oh, losing a little bit on exit. Maybe took a little bit too much of that second curb, so he's going to have to push hard this final couple of sectors just to try and find that time for that pole.
It's there though, like he had a 10th up just before that second chicane, and he's got another 10th up here. So there's at least 2/10 as Jack Steele goes bang to the top of the 28.5.
Nice work, Jack. Can he keep on with it and find a little bit more time this time to try and extend that gap to those behind him? Just got Austin in chat wanting to know if the track is optimum. Can we just get a track condition check, Mike? Okay, it started out fast and it's starting to pick up a bit.
Oh, Jack absolutely sends it over the chicane.
Yeah, he was quite a bit up. Yep, thanks, Mike. He was quite a bit up on before he got to that chicane, so I wonder why he went so aggressive. Probably could have just cruised it through and kept that time. So we know he's definitely got another 3/10 in him. So yeah, we'll see if he can string it together.
I'd just like to, he hasn't posted in YouTube chat yet, but I'd just like to say, give a shout out to Ben Hignett. It's not about his race or anything, it's just that his choice of car in the Bentley is really, really wrong.
Play the bell there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to smacking him around a bit tomorrow night in split blue. So I'll see you out on track, Ben, as Steele starting another lap. Hopefully this time he can string it together. I think it was through here. He's found a bunch of time. Mustn't have gotten it right on his previous fast lap.
Yeah, he's still got a 10th in hand though, so like it's there as Bell goes marginally quicker as well. Let's see how he takes the first chicane this time. Absolutely. Oh, he's munched it again.
Yeah, it looks like he went a bit conservative that time. Yeah, it's a fine balance there, isn't it? You have a bad... Ooh, that was a bit of lag. Someone is zipping all over the track there. Yeah, it's a fine line of do you just go full ham attack on that chicane and hopefully come out a few tenths faster, or potentially invalidate, or worse, end up in the wall.
It's one of those kind of sequences in any track really, but especially here, where if you kind of be conservative and half it, you kind of come out worse off. You've got to like pick your line, make sure your line's correct and send it, because if you pick it and it's wrong, you get sent to the moon. But then if it's conservative but right, you still lose time.
Yeah, 100%. You only need to get it right once in quali. So yeah, just have a crack. See where you end up. The Yoda has returned to the pits. Grab a new set of boots and have another crack. Jack Steele, nearly 3/10 up. Got to focus on his exit through here. Don't hit the stand. Nicely done. Now he does have a bit of traffic in front of him. We'll see if this holds him up a bit.
As
nicely
the
out of the way
Bentley goes sideways, see you later.
Yep, Jack did lose about a 10th through there, but he's still up. Oh, he's made a lot of time. He's invalidated again, and yep.
Obvious
Jack.
frustration there from Jack Steele.
Quick change of boots and back out, I reckon. He's got the pace, he's got the time. He's probably the biggest gainer we've seen in quite a while. Is Hill, who's a bit more down the order. He's up half a second. It won't quite put him towards like the pole, but he could grab at quite a few spots.
Yeah, 100%. He's found another 10th, so I wonder if he's got a bit more time in reserve at the final chicane. Been braking just before the gantry there. He's found a little bit on entry. Can he maintain that on the exit? He does, just losing a little bit. So about 6/10 up. Get him top 3 at all. 6th only. Yeah, that's how tight it is. You're only 2.5 off and you're in 6th position. It's a very tight split.
3/10 puts you in 8th too. Like, that's crazy split between the top 8. As we jump on board with Benny Vintner, who's kind of just floating with improving, so he's got to really attack this. No, he's backed out of it. Yeah, he's quite close to the car in front, eh? We'll see how he goes on his next lap round.
He's starting the lap now. Crosses the line to get it underway. Braking just before the gantry. Looks like he missed the apex slightly there, but still green on the delta. Just flowing the car through. Still green on the delta, which is what you want to see. I'm sure he's left some time at various places on the track. It's just gradually eking a bit more time out of it. I imagine everyone has a lot of time left in them at the chicane here. It's just a matter of getting it right.
I would be absolutely disgusted if Rashmat had way more time to eke out of that lap earlier. I would honestly just sell my rig.
Oh no, another one that's invalidated at that chicane. So it's catching them out tonight. It's definitely catching them out. It's a pretty tough chicane because the track limits aren't that obvious. You think, I could just cut just a little bit more. Naturally, those cones disappear quite quickly, so you can't really rely on those. But you can cut quite a bit of it, but yeah, the track limits aren't that obvious as Luke Johnson just loses a bit on the exit.
Come on, Luke, you're better than that, mate. Let's go. I tell you what, he's gained a lot from the second up. Oh, he's got a bit of a slide there. Kept it kind of in it, and he's gaining more. Look out. If he can hold this lap.
Yeah, if he can hold it, that could be pole. Jack Steele is in the pits. Not sure if Layla is currently on a flyer, but we'll watch Johnson get to the line. We'll have another one after this as well to try and improve further. There's an excellent run through the final corner there. 4/10 up. Easily pole. 28-1. Jacob Weatherburn, half a second up. Should get him pretty close to the front row.
Let's see how he attacks this second chicane. He's gaining time on entry. Will time be gained on exit? Oh, it's floating about the same slightly. Oh, he's just gaining. He's slightly gaining. Look out if he can hold this lap as he fires up to the hairpin. Let's see how he comes out on the exit of the hairpin. Hugs it nice and tight. Oh, drops a bit on exit though.
Yeah, just probably carried a bit too much speed, but he's gaining. Oh, that's an odd place to gain. He's 7/10 up. Can he hold it? Oh, he's lost a bit on exit there. So it'll get him close to the front. Won't have another lap, but very, very solid lap in the clutch. Did it move up?
And it didn't move him up. Was he invalid?
Was it invalid?
It wasn't red though.
Yeah, he's moved up just a little bit. No, you're right. I'm not sure why he hasn't moved up there.
Yeah, not sure.
A little bit of Kunos love there. ACC.
Wonder if anyone's
Excellent
in
Kunos physics.
TeamSpeak with Yoda can confirm if he was invalid or not.
Also, if you are in with him, ask him how he's going, and he's a lovely lad.
And if he misses the Honda.
Don't ask him that, because he wouldn't.
You always miss the Honda. As, qualifying looks to be wrapped up there. Luke Johnson taking the chocolates. So yeah, Luke Johnson, Layla Bell, Jack Steele, Ben Vintner, and Johnston and Kai, the top 3 rows. Lai, sorry. So yeah, what did you make of that quali session?
It seemed to me like it was a quality session of people were pushing the limits and kind of there was probably for 10 odd drivers there was a more on the table if they could have just stayed within the limits.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like Imola last week. There's always probably at least half a second left behind just because when you're pushing and it's so easy to just go over the limits or get one of the canes wrong that it's hard to string that optimum lap together. And we'll have a bit of a roll through of the grid here. Do like me a bit of blue with the Union Jack on there.
It's one of the stronger liveries for this round, as well as the Pixel Racer one is nice. The other blue with the dark blue kind of like a bit there, number 10 is pretty good.
But green, or green on any car, but green on a British car is definitely a good way to go, as we're already moving away. Okay, so must have had a pretty short time to get their setup sorted. Hopefully everyone's got everything, got their pit stops set up correctly. Looks like we had a pretty short timer. Anyway, we'll just continue on. Might have to set it up during the race for some of these drivers tonight. So Connor, who are you picking for the win tonight?
I will play the easy game and I will pick Luke Johnson off of pole.
Oh, Lukey Johnson. Yep, loved the shoey last week, Luke, but I don't think you'll be doing one tonight. Feel free to prove me wrong. I think Layla Bell, she's very good in... Very good in race trim, so I think she'll take the cake tonight.
I mean, there's so many, like Jack Steele was showing pace and he just couldn't nail together the lap. Benny Vintner was quite quick in that session, so was Johnston. Lai Hill were both quick last week. Weatherburn is obviously a very quick driver himself, so there's... And then you have Keys and Skick Luna, who haven't had the quality that they've, come to expect from last week, but they're still quite quick drivers themselves.
Yeah, exactly. There's some very quick drivers buried in the field that didn't quite put quality together, especially Strelnikov down there in P18. We know he's a very aggressive racer, so he'll be looking to move forward. Tofik as well, as the drivers start lining up.
Go on, you've got this. You've got the race start. I believe in you.
Start closing up those gaps. Make sure they're nice and tight. Pack will get a bit scrambled as we come through this chicane leading onto the main. Great, but still plenty of time to get it all sorted out. Race control will be letting him know that they're all ghosted. So we see the top 4 nice and tight. So we'll wait for the green.
Green light, go, go, go.
And we're off. Looks like we've got green flag. Looks like Johnson will take. Layla Bell will hold it around the outside. It's like she may have just jumped him, but Johnson will try and hold around the outside there. It looks like Layla will hold P1 now and try and get away and just hope that Johnson gets tied up in a battle back there. Looks like we've gotten through the first few corners incident free, which is may have spoken too soon. There is a white flag car at the back there. Someone has dropped back. It looks like Webster has dropped to the back of the field there. So everyone makes it through the first chicane. Oh, no, just Kirsten. As I was saying, that a couple of yellow flags back there, but mostly pretty good for split yellow tonight. Split green.
Yeah, very, very good for a start, especially at Zolder. Zolder starts are normally a bit hairy, as we see two Bentleys who cannot park there. Come on, guys. There's been a bit of sadness there. But what a move by Bell around the outside of turn 1 to really capitalise on the race.
Yeah, it's starting. You almost want to start on the outside at Zolder. It's you're sort of a bit compromised because you get the inside. Oh, do we have a safety car? Yep, looks like we might have a safety car.
Yeah,
May have been an incident. Yeah,
Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, look at the
There.
pack. Look at the pack. It's just kind of bunched up in spots.
So yeah, definitely did curse. There must have been a bit of an incident later on in the lap there, as Jake Weatherburn heads into the pits. Maybe popped a bit of damage on the first lap, or just wanting to get out of the pack and complete. I don't think you complete a mandatory under the safety car. So yeah, not 100% clear on those. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if you can or not, but Bell was already starting to rocket off down the straight. Like, yeah, hadn't quite got a second, but she definitely had the pace to scoot away if they kept nipping at Johnson's heels. So it'll be interesting to see if she can nail this safety car restart.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, this is the position you want to be in anyway. It is a pretty difficult track to overtake. Really, your only opportunities are probably the hairpin and maybe turn 1, 2, and 3. We'll take a couple of corners to get that move done, but it's definitely not an easy track to complete a move at. So she's got to park the bus and hopefully come out on top as we come to a replay. Oh, that was a bit of a side-by-side there and couldn't get the car stopped, unfortunately. So yeah,
That was
that's
Weatherburn
why
there.
we had the safety car.
Yeah, that was Weatherburn getting involved in that.
I wonder, yeah, it was just looked a bit too optimistic for lap 1. It's kind of one of these tracks where you have a lot of them in ACC where like it's not super easy to pass, which is fine, and you got to really work to defend and attack, but it's more of a mirror filling track where you've got to put the pressure on, put the screws in, and kind of be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a very, very easy track to make a mistake and just lose a bunch of time. As we see Layla Belt, he decides to gun it straight out of the final chicane. He'll lead them around for the first flying lap after the safety car. Johnson has held on quite well. It created a bit of a gap back to Benny Vintner, but yeah, looks like she's going to control the field quite commandingly here.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how these opening laps go, of whether she can establish a commanding kind of lead or like a commanding race strat where either she has enough pace but can back like Johnson up into the pack behind her.
Exactly, you always got to think on your feet in these kind of scenarios. Do you try and gap Johnson, drive the wheels off the thing, or do you just keep it within yourself, keep it on the track, don't make any mistakes, and potentially just back Johnson into Vintner, and while he's busy trying to defend Vintner, then make him move and try and get away. As we ride on board with Skikluna here, behind Keys, just nothing doing here, just following through, just getting the tyres back up to temperature, and then we'll start making his move. As I see, Stronikov appears to have made up about 8 spots from the race start, so that's that aggressive racing from Stronikov definitely helping him out here.
Yeah, he started down near Tafik here, who we're on board with at the moment, and has definitely capitalised from kind of the little bits of mayhem at the start. So it'd be interesting to see if he can keep forging forward.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure as the longer the race goes on, the more he'll adapt to the car, and that pro level pace will start to show up. So it's definitely out of the midfield madness, as we've got Tofik on the back of Kranich, think we've seen Kranich in a Bentley quite a bit. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like he's a bit of a Bentley driver. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong.
Much more.
All we know is that absolutely Kranich is pulling an alternate stop strategy with this two-stopper here. There's no way he's following the norm of the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, 100%. He'll most either get all these pit stops done right away or wait until the last minute. But moving on, Luna just swapping Keys and Hill have a bit of a battle in front. As we see, all the gaps are pretty tight. There is 1.3 second gap between Steele and Johnston. So this as Luna into the back of Keys. Looks like Keys got caught up a bit with Hill there and just didn't have anywhere to go. Maybe he broke a bit too late, and that's generally the third car in line that always comes off worse for wear in those types of scenarios.
He just gave him a little smooch, let him know he's there.
Yeah, exactly. Probably cop a little bit of a slight paddling from the stewards there. As we're back to the front two, Johnson running with Layla, so not letting her get away. We'll just start thinking about his strategy options here, whether he's going to go for the overcut or the undercut.
With the two-stopper, you kind of, I get it's now, so you could break it up evenly. But realistically, if you're Johnson, you want to try and overcut. Put the pressure on Layla to be like, okay, you've got to get through the traffic, get through the blue flags when you come up to them, when they come around to their pit stops.
Yeah, exactly. And we've also got fuel levels to think about as well. Who's got enough fuel to run longer than the other? Because as you said, the overcut usually, since 1.9's dropped, is stronger. It does take a couple of laps to get those tyres into the window and start lapping at your optimum pace. As we see Johnson do a 28.8 in race trim, that's not too bad. It's about what the guys in the other split were doing, so definitely solid race pace. Lucas Keys, he copped a bit of a walloping from behind, so I imagine the rear diffuser's feeling a bit sad, so come in, get that repaired, and get an early stop out of the way and hopefully do a bit of clean running.
You want to hope that he gets taken out for dinner later, because he didn't want that to happen, but it is what it is. Get that clean air and get out and running again as we jump on board with Skick Luna, who is all over the... Wait, Strelnikov's past Skick Luna. Oh, look out. Strelnikov is on a charge.
Yeah, he must be enjoying the car more in a race trim scenario than trying to maximize everything in quali trim. So he's definitely starting to flex his speed a bit in the Bentley. So we ride on board, he's chasing downhill.
Well, here's the thing, you Bentley enthusiasts out there in chat. Is the Bentley a quali car or a race car, or is it like a bit of both? Like what's the strengths in this game of the Bentley? Because I have no idea.
My feeling on it is it's probably a better race car, as our dear friend Hobbsy was trying to lecture us on. It's light on tyres, good on fuel, so it's probably well set up for racing. It's probably quite difficult to extract that quality speed out of, especially if you are Rashmat and you're driving it around with 0 TC. There's no way that I'm going to do that.
I mean, Hobbsy is also wrong on this instance.
Oh, as we see in camera 2, someone just went flying off at the chicane there. Number 10. Was that Vintner that went flying off at the chicane there? I think it was. So from P3, we'll just wait for the timing to update here. Yeah, as we see Vintner just dropping down the pack a bit. Down to P9 by the looks of it. Definitely not how he wanted to start his race.
Look at the...
little bit of server lag.
Is it a connection issue?
Yep, that's just connection.
Yeah, looks like we might
just connection,
having
guys.
some
Stabilizing. All good.
Yeah, when that happens, best thing to do is just keep driving your lines, ignore what's going on around you. But looks like it is settled back down, and everyone continues on. But yeah, unlucky for Vintner there. See, Layla Bell has just started to gap Johnson a bit. So whether or not Johnson had a bad lap and start to work to bring that gap back in, just to put Layla Bell back under pressure.
She runs very wide into the sand pit there, but one strength that we discussed last week is that Layla Bell is so consistent in race trim. It's like a metronome. It's just lap after lap, the same thing on repeat.
Yeah, and Luke Johnson's going to have his work cut out for him. I don't think you'll see a mistake from Layla in this race, so he's going to have to either get it done in the pits, as we come to a replay here. Probably Benny Vintner just taking a bit too much of the second curve and ending up in the wall. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a sad front end on that Bentley.
Can the Bentley take hits very much, or is it kind of like one scrape and it's ruined?
It's a boat. It takes a fair few hits.
Mike there
Very
telling us it's
GTR
a
like.
boat. Ah, like the GTR, so it can take a little bit of a rubbins race, and I like to hear that. It's probably one of its only redeeming qualities.
Settle down. It is right-hand drive. That's also a very high redeeming quality of the Bentley. Correct hand drive, as I like to say.
Yeah, look, it would be if all the other cars in the game weren't left-hand drive. Then, yeah. But it does mess you around a bit. It takes quite a bit of time to get used to it after you've been driving all the left-hand drive cars, and you jump in the Bentley and you're just completely messed up by where you're meant to be placing the car. But this gap has closed down to just half a second, so it's probably just going to be yo-yoing throughout the race.
Bit of one-upsmanship here, like, oh, I can do just as good as you, I can do better. But they are, the major thing to think about is they are gapping Steele. So that pace that Steele was showing in quali has kind of gone a bit to the wayside in these first 15 minutes. But it may be that these two may be the bulk of who's going to come out on top here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like Imola again last week. It's just two drivers that seem to have a bit of the edge in race trim. Just gapping the field a bit. Just look down the order a bit. Tromakov up to P7 after Vintner made that mistake. Cicluna into the pits to complete his first stop. Johnson just gets it on the grass a little bit. So that's what we're talking about. Just a bit of to and fro, some mistakes here and there. The gap will just keep yo-yoing like that.
Yeah, and it's those mistakes which will separate who comes out on top after the pit stops and who doesn't. And especially at a track like this where one small mistake can lead to catastrophe.
Yeah, 100%. As just in camera 2, we just saw somebody having a bit of a mare down at the chicane there, getting themselves back up to speed.
It's Layla Bell. Luke Johnson is in the lead.
Layla Bell, was it? Oh no! As we've been giving her the rap, looks like we're giving her the commentator curse. Apologies, Layla. She's getting
Layla, send your invoice to Brad. It was all him.
Yeah, moving on. So where she ended up, is she just behind Steele? Probably just waiting for the standings to update here.
P3 is correct.
Yep, P3 is correct. If I was her, I probably would have just gone straight to the pits, grabbed some new boots, and then just gone straight back out and tried to Got to punch in some clean laps, but yeah, she's got a bit of work ahead of her now. She's definitely got more pace than Steele, so we'll see if she can make her way back through.
I suppose it would depend on how long she stays out on those tyres. Like, whether did she absolutely burn those tyres up, like doing a skid, doing a bit of a burnout, like getting onto track and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very easy to overheat these tyres in 1.9, and you tend to lose quite a bit of pace for a couple of laps before you get them back under control. But now, yeah, that's just sort of left Johnson 2.3 seconds ahead, and just out on his own, just to run some consistent laps.
Oh, just took the exit curb. Yeah, those tyres would be good to keep it out of the wall, like absolute awesome scenes to keep it out of the wall. I just don't know how those tyres would be feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky the slide was mostly on the grass, so they shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, heads up as well, just to try and maintain that P3. Just went defensive into the Villeneuve chicane and just managed to hold on to that position so she can forward her way back forward, as we've got Luke Johnson here just out on his own now. Had a bit of a free kick. So yeah, just got to keep his head down and not make any mistakes from here. It looks like a few people have been caught out by that chicane. Hopefully Luke doesn't fall to the same mistake. We've got a bit of a battle here between Cranich, Webster and Rochford. In an interesting colour choice for that livery there. Sandwiched in between by a couple of white bread Bentleys here.
He's absolutely done the Bentley dirty there. He's gone, how can I make this thing look abysmal?
He just wanted to represent how he's feeling inside while he's trying to sail this boat of a car around this track.
What would you call that? If that's a feeling, what would you call that of the feeling inside?
It's just numbness, you know. I've probably done about 10 laps in the Bentley, and it did nothing for me, Connor. How much time have you spent in the Bentley?
I was a safety car driver once for one of the splits, and it had the Bentley as the safety car, so that is my time in the Bentley.
So you did about one lap at about 100 kilometres an hour?
Yep. And it was still an absolutely abysmal lap.
At least it sounded good, but yeah, moving right along. Dan F, the Bentley Fanatec, just chasing down Costa here. Looks like he just made a bit of a mare of that final chicane, and see some penalties up here. Dylan with 15 seconds and Lowe with 5 seconds. But yeah, this pack with the two white Bentleys and the very 90s fluorescent hammer pants Bentley here, just getting mobbed by these two here.
90s fluorescent hammer pants Bentley. Alright.
That's what it reminds me of.
It's a very
Mike
accurate
Webster,
description.
You know what to do. Change your name from Joker Racing to what Brad just said. I expect it every week.
He's getting absolutely ganged up on here. It's, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in this position. Looks like he does have a bit more pace than both these drivers. Just got to find a way through, but they're doing a good job of making it difficult for him. It's gone up the inside there. That is an interesting line he just took. Probably sacrificed a track limit just to get that move completed.
I mean, now showing the extra pace he had over, I think it was Kranich in front, now he can kind of gallop away from the madness.
As we've got Layla Bell here in the pit lane, get that first stop out of the way. Potentially undercut Steele. And also Tofik in here, just getting out of that pack. Try and find some clean running.
So we got the top 4. So yeah, a lot of people haven't pitted yet. You're kind of people who are up the front, more towards the front. Live, Vintner, Keys, Skikluna have all pitted. So, and Layla Bell's in the pits now, as is Stronikov and Tafik. So it'll be interesting to see how long Johnson, Steele, and Johnston, and Hill as well, have how much fuel they put in the tank to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, you sort of with the overcut, you either get the advantage early on in the race, or you take the pain a little bit later on with a shorter stint. But I can imagine it may be offset by carrying a little bit less fuel. So yeah, still plenty of time to see how this all plays out.
We jump on board with Kilby from Killer Racing in a very, you know what, I rate that pink on with the black, like it just pops. But he has taken a line. I'm not going to say whether it's the correct line or non-correct line, but he's taken a line through that final sequence there. As Johnston has made his move into the pits. So it'll be interesting to see when Johnson and Steele make their move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Steele's looks like his last lap was his best lap, so he's definitely still got quite a bit of pace tucked up in that Bentley. So probably getting quite low on the tank at this point. We'll see if he decides to chuck it in the pits this lap. Wants to continue on. I'm honestly shocked we haven't seen any incidents coming into the pit lane yet. This track has probably one of the worst pit entries of any track, where you generally see people piling into the car in front of them when they want to go into the pits. But yeah, thankfully we have not seen that.
We haven't seen a lot of people pit simultaneously, like as in big gaggles, as Dylan coming in from P4. As he hits the wall,
Comes in
and
a
the
little too
bonnet
hard.
flips up. That's a bit of sadness. Oh, right before his box too. He'd be kicking himself.
Wonder if he was looking at his MFD there, just trying to get the fuel or the tyres set up, and just didn't pay attention to the wall that you've got to sort of avoid as you're trundling through the pit lane there. That'll yeah, he'll be kicking himself for that. It's a bit of a weird pit lane here. As we've got Luke Johnson has decided to pit. Jack Steele still out, just running, and Graham Hill.
So Jack Steele's best lap is a 28.6. What is Layla Bell's best lap? If we could just jump on board with her for a second, because she still has the fastest lap, 28.5. So the pace between those up the front is not that differential. So it'd be interesting to see what they can do on the fresh rubber.
Yeah, exactly. And once we see that ACC timing board cleanse a bit, see how far off Layla Bell is from Luke Johnson. As yeah, Hill still running out, electing to run this first stint out as long as possible. Still a few cars left to pit. We've got a big gaggle in here. Jack Steele deciding to finally swap over to some new tyres and grab some juice and head on out.
Yeah, well, he's ran quite long on that stint, so it'll be, as we have, where is Johnson? Johnson's coming into the final chicane now. Steele isn't moving, so he's going to, Johnson is going to get, I wonder if he missed his box or missed his stop or something, because that seems quite long, because surely they were quite close.
Yeah, but he is gonna. Oh yeah, he's not too far off, but yeah, it looks like he probably did lose a little bit in that stop. Maybe just missed the box a little bit. But interesting. Layla Bell is about 10 seconds off Johnson now, which I'm not sure if she was that far behind after her incident at the chicane. But yeah, it's quite the gap she's got to try and bring in.
I mean, she did have the moment where it did put her back down there, but I don't remember how far she was back from them, whether she's gained or lost or, you know, whatever. So, but she is under fire from Johnston, so maybe that'll take away a bit of her attention of forging forward.
Yeah, exactly. Turned into a bit of a defensive race. But yeah, Johnston definitely looking to attack the rear bumper of Layla Bell here. She still does have that purple lap. I wonder if anyone's got anything up their sleeve to try and take that one off her. It's worth a few points, I believe. So we see Paul Kranich actually electing to get his first pit stop out of the way. It's a bit early for Kranich, don't you think?
Oh, you ruined us here in the comms. We said you were going to be the alternate strategy person, and you're just doing normal like everyone else. What is going on?
It's alright, we've got Hill and I can't remember who else who's still running long, so maybe they'll just yeah, as Hobbsy did say, the Bentley is quite kind on its tyres, so maybe just staying out in clear air for as long as possible may be a bit of a benefit here in Bentley.
Well, yeah, maybe. As we jump on, Dylan is all over the back of Foster, only separated by 4/10, so this is a battle that kind of is looking to heat up a little bit. Oh, was he one of... Nah, that's a half white, half grey cars. He has a look down the inside. Very shallow line into turn 2 there. But he does seem to have the pace over Foster, so maybe a move will come in the next lap or two.
Yeah, Dylan did serve a penalty in the pit stop, so a bit further down the order than what his pace would suggest. So he's got some moves to make. As he gets that done on the exit, just sort of, yeah, build the mirrors up and sort of dummied Costa a little bit there, and gets to, or was it Foster, gets the move done before the next corner. So now moving on, chase down Costa, and yeah, see where they can end up.
Jumping up with Lai, who is kind of navigating his way through some traffic. There's an absolute gaggle here. Vintner, Lai, Johnston just ahead. Bell just up the road a little bit more as well.
Yeah, big pack here. It's going to be very tight coming in. Looks like Vintner has a bit of a run here. Wants to make up for that mistake at the chicane. Don't want to go too wide through here, but they've got to try and make it work. Looks like Vintner has gotten through and Lai has come out worse off there, but hey, Rubbin's racing through there. That's sort of what happens if you try and go side by side. You've got to take your medicine there. Oh, a bit of a slide there. Not sure who that was. That was Keys, maybe. Oh, it's too far behind. Maybe it was Keys that had a bit of a slide through there.
Especially if you're not going to back out of that chicane or those kind of sequences. If you're not going to back out, then, like, yeah, you're going to get a little bit of contact and Rubbin's racing at the end of the day. Yeah,
100%. If you're gonna try and take it side by side through a corner, sometimes it's going to be a bit of rubbing, and ACC physics may take over, and you never know what's going to happen. But we right on board with Jack still here, just 1.9 seconds off Rochford, who is just a second ahead of, a second behind Johnson here.
Rochford still yet to make his first pit stop.
Yeah, so Rochford doing the long strat.
Doing the Kranich strat.
Rochford doing the Kranich. Which it's good to see someone's doing it. Someone's just sending it for the stars. So good play to him.
Benny Vincent are just working the back of hill here, looking for an opportunity to make up for his mistake earlier. Nicely through the Villeneuve chicane, and I just love this section here. It's just a manic little part of the track, just constantly on the wheel. It's a little bit wide there on the grass, but you don't lose too much if you end up on. Oh, it's very deep. Probably had the tyres a little bit dirty into that braking zone there, and almost ran up the back of hill, but nothing done there. Just keep going.
Yeah, it's probably my favourite part of the circuit because it just feels kind of like on rails and on edge for that little sequence there once you're coming out of the chicane, and when you really hit it and nail it, it just feels so good.
Yeah, exactly. As I was saying to someone earlier this week, it's almost like a bit of a rally circuit here. It's very bumpy. It's just sort of just lefts and rights constantly, and it's just very, very busy. So, yeah, love the manic attitude of this circuit.
I wonder if it'll appear on the calendar next year, or even better, we go back to the 7 hours of Zolder and try and see if we can finish it off.
I'm not sure if everyone is over the trauma of that event. Yeah, when I was first looking at coming back to ACC, I did take a look at that. Take a look at that race, and was pretty gutted to see what happened. Yeah, we've got Gorilla Snapper in the Twitch chat just asking us to look at Rotford's pit entries. I'm not sure if we're able to bring that up on the replay there, Mike. But yeah, we've got Vintner still just on the back of hill, just having a bit of a think about where he can get a move done. It's gone very deep again on the. Be careful when you're that third car in line there. You don't know if that car ahead is going to brake a bit earlier than you're expecting, and then you end up running into the back of the car just in front of you.
So we see Vintner, who we got in front, Hill and Johnston, all just a gaggle with Lai sitting there and waiting. Stronikov hasn't gained up as much as what I thought. He kind of is stuck in P8 as we have the replay, and this is Rochford going into the pit lane. He skids it around, he does a bit of a drift, and puts it on the limiter. That could have been sadness. And, okay, there's the sadness. There.
I was wondering what was going on. I thought Gorilla Snapper took us through a bit of a ride there, but yeah, he just wasn't really paying attention to the barriers around him. Hill. Was that Hill or Johnston? Johnston just taking a bit of a shortcut. Looks like he's actually made a bit of time there, but bit of a sneaky track cut there. But no worries, we'll keep racing.
That smelled of soy sauce in Japan from last week in the GDR. So I think he's probably stuck in the past and he needs to come forward to Zolder and the Bentley. So
yep, we're in British cars here. We don't want to see any drifting or any nefarious activities. As we've got Hill just in a bit of an awkward position here when you've got a car right up your clacker and you're also trying to find a way past the car ahead of you. Just got to be careful that you don't send it at the wrong time and then end up losing the position behind you.
yeah, well, that's it. Like, you don't want to. When you're in the middle of those packs, you're the most vulnerable. As we have Skick Luna into the pits for his final stop, but you are the most vulnerable because you're trying to attack and also defend at the same time. So you're kind of manic and you're kind of both ways. You're like, oh, what do I do? Whereas the person in front's just defending. and the person behind is just attacking.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy place to be on board with Vintner. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word. But yes, perhaps maybe he might want to think about just doing the undercut, get himself out of this traffic here, try and get some clear track as he does just that.
Oh,
Great minds do think alike. It is a sketchy pit entry here. you want to brake later, but you've got to allow for the cars that want to take that final corner. But nicely done. So
someone needs to check Graham Hill's pants, because I can guarantee he has flinched looking in his rear view mirror if he does use rear view mirrors, seeing Vintner just absolutely send it.
Yep. Yeah. He probably will need a new pair of underwear after that pit entry. But that's just part of this track. You've got to be wary. You might think someone's going to just run in the back of you, but most likely they're looking to head into the pits. So yeah, now we can stop focusing on the rearview mirror and start having a serious look at Johnston here. Maybe he might even think about getting that pit stop out of the way and just trying to fend off that undercut from Vintner.
Yeah, I wonder, and if you're in these guys' position, so they're kind of a bit back from the top three, and in their own little battle for the minor placings of the top five, do you match the strategy of what the guy's doing in front of you? Or do you continue on with your strategy of whether it's an overcut or an undercut?
I mean, for me, it's always try and go for the overcut. It's generally what I try and do. Obviously, you've got your fuel, and you can't know exactly what the driver ahead of you is planning, but I'll always try and go the overcut for myself. But yeah, it really depends on how much the driver ahead of you is holding you up, but it doesn't look like Johnston is holding Hill up that much. They're probably quite equal on pace, so yeah, it's just going to come down to who can get that pit stop nailed.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting if they kind of do mirror each other and so that way they've got the line of sight of each other on track for the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, just put a bit of pressure on to just nail that pit stop when you go in at the same time. Yeah, it's ACC pit stops, as we all know, can be quite finicky. You've got to stop almost millimeter precise. Well, that was a very tight moment. He'll just try to make as much time up as possible coming into the pits. This is that lie just following them in, and Layla Bell also completing her final pit stop as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where Hill comes out in relation to Vintner.
Where is Vintner on track? So he is
Right here behind these.
Wow, yeah, he's actually quite a bit away. But I mean, this last section of the track doesn't take too long to complete.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pack here. Wonder if Vintner has. Probably wouldn't be losing much time behind Keys here. So looks like we might have a bit of a battle pack forming for the final 20 minutes of the race here. As Layla Bell has dropped off the jacks and is heading out. She should clear those. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Hill feeds out. Still sitting up on those jacks, waiting for the tyres to finish. So he's just come out, and Vintner is on the main straight here with Keys.
If his exit is good, he should wind out just in front of him.
Yeah, just trying to keep an eye out on where he is exactly.
Yep, just up ahead there. He is just in front of our race leader, Luke Johnson.
Yeah, so nice work there. He's looks like potentially Vintner must have been held up in a bit of traffic there when he did that earlier stop. So that's always the peril when you go for an undercut in these two-stop races, is just getting caught in traffic and losing a bit of time to those who you're battling.
Yeah, well, it's one of those tracks, like the harder tracks that are... it's pretty much a general rule of this game. You just lose so much time battling and squabbling. And, like, yeah, it's fun and stuff, but, like, overall for your race plan and your race strategy, it just affects it so much.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit of a general rule of mine when I get into racing. It's just early on in the race, you know, if someone wants to fight tooth and nail, generally just let them go. But generally save my battling for the latter half of the race. Just try and maximise that race pace, as we've got a big pack here for P10. Strelnikov, Hill, Keys and Vintner. So Strelnikov's got himself into this battle pack here. He was definitely ahead of these guys, so he looks like he's fallen into the clutches of these guys a bit here.
Oh yeah, they are stuck behind. Oh no, Kilby's up the road, so yeah. I don't know what's happened to Vintner.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why they've dropped so far back, but I guess Strelnikov looks like he's made up a little bit of time, so may have had a good pit stop or may have had a good run at the end of his stint, and he's just slotted himself in between Hill, Keys and Vintner. But yeah, maybe he's going to be a bit of a cork in the bottle here. Seems to be struggling with the car compared to where you would usually see Strelnikov. So we've got Johnson in the pits as well. So he's just exited.
So yeah, he's going to gap these guys and continue. He's dropped quite a bit to Bell. So, oh no, he's gained a lot on this because he was part of this pack, wasn't he? With like Vintner and stuff like that, and Lai and Hill.
Yeah, has gained quite a bit. Just running out that little bit longer. Just that overcut's a bit stronger. He just ran in some clear air for a little while, and just made the most of it. No, it looks like that early pit stops really hurt Vintner a bit. But oh well, he'll be relishing just some tight racing on track, which is really what it's all about.
So we have Keys all over the... Oh, look at the car sliding around. But he's all over the back of Strelnikov, and it's allowing Vintner to just crawl all over the back of these guys. We've got a bit of a battle on here.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for Keys to get past Strelnikov, as we've got Keys here in that vulnerable position, just sandwiched between Strelnikov and Vintner. He's going to be wanting to get to dispatch Strelnikov as quickly as possible. But yeah, just got to keep an eye on Vintner, make sure he doesn't leave the door open, as he just misses the apex a bit for turn one there. Picks up a bit of sand. Oh, Vintner's just going to slide it through there. Just nicely completed there.
Good move.
Now Vintner eyes forward onto Strelnikov.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the pace, as we have our race leader Johnson on camera 2 in pits. The only one up the front kind of more is Tafiq, who will drop back once he's completed his stop. But it'll be interesting to see Jack Steele is coming down towards the final chicane. As Johnson drops off the jacks, and yeah, he's going to clear him by a bucket load.
Yeah, Johnson, once Layla made that mistake at the chicane, he's just put his head down, not made any mistakes, and has just cleared out from the rest of the field. So, yeah, look, he's got 13 minutes to just keep pumping in those laps, not make any mistakes, and I'll be expecting another shoey if you cross the line in first place.
Huey on the last lap, I heard.
Yeah, look, you could load it up for the as you cross the line. Just hip that shoe as you cross the line. But anyway, Vinton just forging forwards towards Stronnikov. This looks like, yeah, Stronnikov just doesn't quite have the edge in the Bentley. I don't blame him. Probably not having the greatest time. Let's be honest, Connor.
Yeah, look, I don't know. If your name's Benjamin Hignett, then you love things that are wrong. And this car is wrong. But that's okay. I mean, like, he probably hasn't driven it hardly at all, if at all, ever. So you can't really, and especially if it doesn't suit your driving style, you just can't sometimes adapt completely to it.
Exactly. As we see Vincent just dip into the grass a bit there, but still managed to make time on Stronnikov. So maybe that's the strat here in the Bentley at the Zolder. Just do a bit of mowing, just clear a bit of grass out.
Yeah, I can see that the mulch catcher on the side actually. So it was intended to be driven off track and not on.
Mulch catcher. As, yeah, Vintonas just edging forward slowly. That gap is going down ever so slightly. Just having a look back through the pack. So Dylan has had a bit of trouble getting his way through. Back in 20th there. But yeah, Luke Johnson, 1.1 seconds back to Steele. So Steele has actually got that gap to shrink quite a bit after the final pit stop, so definitely be salivating at the thought of having a crack at Johnson.
He had the pace on small fuel running, so like quali trim and stuff like that. So maybe he's only done some low fuel running. So it'll be interesting to see over the next 11 minutes how much he's just reined in the gap another 4/10.
Just the incentive of that P1 car in front of him just set his bum alight, and he's ready to have a crack. As we've got Tofik, he's just been dropped the 10-second penalty as he's entered the pit. That's a bit of a rude surprise for him. I'm not sure if he'll have to serve that while he's in the pits, or that'll be a post-race. But yeah, looks like we've got a battle on here, and a blue flag just ahead as well. That should hopefully get out of the way down this straight. But yeah, just Steele all over the back of Johnson now.
I mean, that can happen though. Like the spirit and the fire of competition can kind of stoke a lot out of people mid-race, where like they see the goal or the target set in front of them, and kind of like it makes you like rev up even more.
Yeah, you just find that extra gear. Sometimes you just need a bit of motivation to, yeah, start driving to your maximum. But yeah, he's really reeling this gap in now. He's right on the bumper of him now, so maybe Johnson's just slowly working those tyres in. He knows he's got the pace overall, and he's not too worried, but Jack Steele definitely letting him know he's there.
Yeah, he's down to 4/10 now, so it'll be interesting to see how wide Johnson can make his Bentley. But I don't know, kind of Jack looks like he's on the front foot here.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Jack has, as the race is going on, he was there, but probably looked originally at the start of the race, didn't look like he had the pace of Johnson and Bell, but it looks like he's sort of just worked things out as the race has gone on, and it looks like he's got Johnson on the back foot. But the gap seems to have settled at about half a second, so maybe it was just a case of letting Johnson's tyres just get up to pressure. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. We've got 8 minutes left. Plenty of time for Steele to pack onto the back of Johnson's bumper there and try and make a move.
It'd be in the next couple of minutes, Steele, hopefully, if it was in his plan, is to get up on the back bumper of him and make a move while Johnson's tyres are a bit more, cold and not as optimised. But then again, Johnson has just pushed the gap back out to 7/10, so maybe his tyres are starting to fire up.
Yeah, it looks like he's answering the challenge here. He's probably the tyres have gotten into their optimum range, and he's just starting to put the foot down and try and break Steele's spirit here a bit. But still plenty of time. We know this track does produce mistakes, so you're never comfortable when you've got a car within a second behind you. I've got a bit of a battle pack there going on in camera 2. Like that is the Vintner, Strelnikov and Keys battle. Still tight as ever.
Yeah, that battle's kind of been raging on for the past 20 minutes ever since a lot of them completed their final stop, so it'll go down to the wire.
Yeah, not sure what to pay attention to here. But still, yeah, he's not letting him get away. He's brought that gap back down to half a second. It's just missing the apex of the hairpin, but getting a good exit up into the final chicane. Steal a bit later on the brakes. A bit of a slide on exit. It's just going to come down to who can keep their nerve and get it through that chicane the cleanest for the final 6 minutes.
Yeah, and like for both of them, as you said, it'll be focusing on the exits, making sure your exits are good. That way, on the entry to the next corner, the driver behind can't pull up alongside you and can't be flanked or anything. So, but Johnson seems to be holding his nerve, so it'll be interesting to see if he can kind of keep that half a second to a second gap.
We'll see them both attack the chicane here. Steele just yeeting it over both curbs. The car took it exceptionally well.
Steele is like, what chicane? The chicane does not exist to the likes of me.
Exactly, just dispatching that. Gone for 4, and he's moving on. Yeah, I don't see this. It's just ebbing and flowing between 5 and 7/10. So I wonder, maybe slightly different setups here, just favouring different parts of the track. Potentially different, the drivers favouring different sections of the track as well. Like Johnson just turning it a bit earlier than Steele there for the final chicane as well.
Well, you seen coming out of the hairpin before, Johnson seemed to get a kind of a worse exit, going out really wide out of the exit of the hairpin. But then coming out of that corner, like, it seemed to be that Johnson got the better exit. So I wonder if across the course of the track, they're just slightly better and slightly worse on different corners. So he does seem to be stabilising the gap, but Steele's still going to be hungry with him there nipping, as Ben Vintner is going really slowly. Did he have an off?
I think it was just Oh, he did have an off. You're right. It looks like he was actually just letting Strelnikov by. Maybe he just went a bit deep into the final corner, had to let Strelnikov back through as he cut the corner. And then it's good sportsmanship. Just resume that battle and try and take that position on track. It looks like Steele has dropped off the back of Johnson here. Not sure what's happened. Must have had a bit of a moment through the chicane. As Vintner looks like he's gone past Strelnikov here.
Yeah, it'd be also the tiredness and the fatigue setting in with these drivers because, like, it's quite a taxing track to race.
Yeah, there's not much time to rest at Zolder. You're always working the wheel. Got some pretty short straights to sort of just relax the hands for a bit, relax the mind. But it's actually I'm not sure. It looks like Vincent is back behind Strelnikov. So what's happened while we weren't paying attention there?
There is sadness on the front straight. That looked like a bit of an internet issue and like a slight DC or something.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Not sure if Mike can bring that one up on the replay there. Not sure who that was involved in that incident there. Didn't quite catch whose names dropped down the order there. But it's like Dylan potentially involved in that incident.
As we jump on board with a replay of Jack Steele, so let's see, has he just shot it in too hard? Okay. Oh, yeah, clipped it and the wall. Yeah, it's those little sausage curbs there that just rise out of the ground as you have Vintner all over the back of Strelnikov. Be interesting to see if he makes a lunge. He's having a look. He's placed the car. Crossed him wide. Oh, look out. Good drag down here.
Great
bit of tapping. Strelnikov, don't move over too much. Oh, under brakes.
I see what's happened here. Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
That's live.
That's live. It's going to be a tough one for the stewards. I don't want to call it too early, but I feel like Strelnikov may have squeezed Vintner onto the grass a bit in the braking area. So if I was Vintner, race on. Don't give that position back, but I guess we'll see what these stewards make of that.
Yeah, absolutely. The stewards may say give it back, but we don't know. They're making the hard calls. We're up here in the comms box, like, just having a chat about everything.
I mean, if it was me, I'd keep racing on, but look, that's up to the stewards. But also, again, if you haven't driven the Bentley and it's the first time in ACC that you've been on the correct hand side of the car, you may not exactly be completely aware of where your track is on the car, so it's a easy mistake to make.
Going our final lap now.
As Johnson is just going through Sector 1, starting the final lap. So he is 3.2. He has extended that gap by another second after Steele had his off. And I'm guessing just the tyres of Steele after pushing behind Johnson for so long, just to kind of giving up a little bit compared to Johnson's, especially being he had the overcut with the fresh tyres. So it'll be interesting to see if he can hold off for the rest of the lap. As we jump on board with Rochford, who's done the absolute impeccable alternate strat, has ended up in P16 in front of Yoda as he runs wide.
Yoda, what are you doing, mate? Bit of a gaggle here, just all squabbling at the end of the race. Maybe a blue flag just getting involved there. But it looks like Gerda's definitely not had the race he's wanted here. Got Rodford here all over the back of Foster. And Luke Johnson, I hope he's got that shoe in hand as he crosses the line to take P1. And Jack Steele looks like he's taken the fastest lap of the race as well. So he'll cross the line in P2. Great result for Steele and Layla Bell. Commiserations for that mistake at the start of the race, but P3 still a great position to finish in. And Johnston leading that pack of 4, 5, and 6 over the line there.
Is there celebratory donuts or is there celebratory send it into the wall into turn 1? It was a good race by all around. There was some absolute great racing. There's the donuts by Johnson, our victor, and he tank slaps it into the wall. I hope he's doing that with one hand and the other hand on the shoey, ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. He's probably just got that beer just flowing through the mouth right now as he's trying to whip that car around for the donuts. But what a race from these guys! We sort of knew it with the sort of the top 6 or 7 all just being very close on the times. There, it was going to be a very close race. Going to be some good battles on track, and that's exactly what we saw.
Especially like this track, I think always promotes good close racing too. It promotes kind of like, you know, those who don't necessarily go for the sends. As long as you keep yourself calm and committed, like you will come out in a very good spot at a track like this.
Yeah, exactly. As we
Green light, give it all you can.
get ready to run through the results here for Split Green. So we see in taking the victory, Luke Johnson in P2, Jack Steele and P3 Layla Bell running through to Johnston, Lai, Hill, Vintner and Strelnikov, Ease and Kidman taking out your top 10. Kofi, Costa, Lowe, Kilby, Foster, Rochford, Weatherburn, Greco, Cranich and Webster in the top 20. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting race there. Very much enjoyed that, despite there being Bentleys running around the track. I'm not sure what's going on with those cars down the bottom there, which people tried to join the lobby in the incorrect car, but we'll ignore that. So yeah, your thoughts on that race, Connor?
It was definitely a bit more, had a bit more entertainment than last week's race for Green. But all around, again, like most people, good driving by all around, good heads-up driving. Another excellent win by Johnson. Unfortunate for Layla Bell, but I think she'll bounce back next week, so for a good race.
Yeah, definitely a learning experience. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in to the Octane Online Racing Simagic Spec Series. We'll be back again tomorrow for the regular sprint series here at Zolder. Until then, yeah, catch you tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.